Commentary comes from Martin Bundle and David Croft.
Welcome along then to the streets of Baku, the capital city of Azerbaijan, and the 2017 Formula One Azerbaijan Grand Prix. For the first time ever in Formula One, Azerbaijan has its name on a Grand Prix, and we have flown 5,545 miles from Montreal here to the shores of the Caspian Sea just to be here. It's the Baku City Circuit, round 8 of this 2017 championship, and a shade over 6 kilometres long, this street circuit with 20 corners, 12 to the left and 8 to the right, and only 280 metres from pole position to the apex of turn 1 to try and pull off something stunning into that first corner. 2 DRS zones, and unlike last year when it was the Grand Prix of Europe here, 2 DRS detection zones as well. That's the scene just behind the temporary paddock and pit lane here in Baku. It has been blue skies pretty much all weekend long. The heat has very much been turned up, as it was in qualifying yesterday, with Mercedes on the tarmac, Martin, turning up the heat on Ferrari.
Absolutely, it is so hot out there. Track 49 and falling now, of course, as we get towards the evening. It's a 5 p.m. start here, local time, and 69% humidity. I think that's why it feels extra hot and sweaty out there, Crofty, and it's going to be a long afternoon for the drivers. We've seen how easy it is for them to make one tiny error, probably more so than Monaco even, because the track's pretty slippery and dusty offline, and it just needs one little excess into the braking zone and you're in big trouble.
Here's the grid then. Lewis Hamilton, a 66th pole in Formula One, has Valtteri Bottas alongside him. A 49th front row lockout for Mercedes. Kimi Raikkonen out-qualifies Sebastian Vettel for the second time this season. Vettel's never won from below the top 3. Max Verstappen is the lead Red Bull driver. He has Sergio Perez for company. Podium from 7th here last year for Perez. Esteban Ocon and Lance Stroll with their best ever career starts in Formula One line up alongside each other. And then comes Felipe Massa and Daniel Ricciardo, who crashed in Q3 and is only 10th. Danny Kvyat starts 11th for Toro Rosso, Kevin Magnussen alongside him for Haas, and behind them in 13th, Nico Hülkenberg with his worst qualifying performance of the year, and Pascal Wehrlein getting Sauber into Q2 for the 3rd time this season. Carlos Sainz has a 3-place grid penalty after his crash in Canada and keeps Romain Grosjean company in 16th. Then comes Marcus Ericsson and Stoffel van Dorn for McLaren, 35 places on the grid for engine and gearbox penalties for him, 40 places for his teammate Fernando Alonso, and Jolyon Palmer, who had an incident when his car caught fire in practice yesterday, didn't set a time in qualifying, but the stewards have allowed him to race. But out at the front, is the race today between Valtteri Bottas and Lewis Hamilton, or have Ferrari got that race pace that we've seen in evidence throughout this season? That's the big question, Martin, that needs to be answered.
I think Ferrari will look closer in the race, but I can't help but feel in Canada and here again this weekend, Mercedes have taken a step forward in understanding what they'd already got and improving the car. And Ferrari, you know, we know they've had to go back to an older engine in Seb Vettel's car as well for good measure. So they seem to have the high ground to me at the moment, Crofty. And but I also expect that Red Bull, 5th and 10th on the grid, are out of position in terms of the race potential of that car.
Renault said they brought an engine upgrade here. I checked that out with Christian Horner today, and he said, no, it's not technically...
Final thing from me, Kimmy, just think about the fact that track temperature is going to drop quite a lot through the race when we talk about balance for the second stint tyres.
And changing between different areas of the track as well. A lot of this track will be in shade from some of the tall buildings around this circuit. At the moment, on the main straight, it's 51 degrees. Now, Christian Horner's saying that what Renault have done is that they've changed some of the engine mapping, they've improved some of the engine mapping, and that is worth a tenth and a half a lap. But they've also brought very much a Monza spec downforce here for those very long straights. Super soft tyres, Martin, then, for the top 10. That's the tyre they set their fastest time on in Q2 to get through to the final part of qualifying. Only 3 have gone with a soft tyre to start.
Which is about 1.3 seconds per lap slower. So will we get the undercut when they come in around 15 to 20? Will they go faster, in other words, as soon as they bolt the soft tyres on? Or will they, in fact, go a little bit slower? And those that stay out a bit longer, as Vettel did in Monaco, will they gain an advantage? It's a very close call, that.
And the clock ticks around to 5 o'clock then, and we're off for the formation lap here. 3.7 miles before the cars line up on the grid once again. Soft tyres on the car for Grosjean, for Ericsson and Van Dorn. which I assume then is 3 drivers gambling on an early safety car. Every driver has to run at some stage the slower soft compound tyre in this race. But if there is a safety car and you've gone with a soft early, then you might be able to make up significant places here.
Could do good luck into that, and a safety car here is not out of the question. We've seen in the F2 races the track actually completely blocked in that very narrow 7.9 metre wide turn 8, and if you think about, for example, the Malaysian Grand Prix circuit, it's 22 metres wide in certain places, and in fact this track's pretty wide in certain places too down the pit straight.
Yeah, it's very much a Gemini track, isn't it? A track of 2 faces, really. Some parts very narrow, some parts exceptionally wide. And the Drivers' Championship, 12 points between Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton. Valtteri Bottas, Kimi Raikkonen and Daniel Ricciardo completing the top 5 points all the way down to Lance Stroll. This only 7 metres wide, turn 7 by the maiden tower. And that's where it can get very much blocked if someone comes a cropper, and already we've seen drivers hitting the wall on the inside of that right-hand turn. We're on board with Max Verstappen. I've talked about the shadows, Martin. The sunlight kind of streams through and you go from dark to light within the space of a few metres in certain parts.
I hated it. For example, in Melbourne, you do out of turn 5 and 6, there's always a canopy of trees there, and it does affect your reference points. Little dark patches of tarmac or a line or a bump or something. You've got the curbs as well. You've got your brake marker boards up a little bit higher. Of course, you don't always want to look up there. And so your reference points are moving around. And on a track where braking is critical and somewhat difficult from what we've seen, Crofty, then that can be a challenge.
There's your tyre strategies. You pit round about lap 24 to put the soft compound tyres on if you've got the track position, if you've got a gap to come back out into. A 2-stop strategy, looking at lap 16 and lap 33, but those that we've spoken to today not feeling that a 2-stop strategy under normal conditions is the fastest way to complete the race distance. And all of the drivers out there, Martin, desperately trying to get some heat into those tyres.
Very slow formation lap from Lewis. It's his prerogative, as long as he doesn't accelerate, brake, and keep concertinaing the pack. It's his prerogative as to how quickly he wants to go around. Then he wants them all backed up before he parks on the grid.
He doesn't want to be sat there for any longer than he has to on pole position. On his out lap from the garage to the grid, we've actually seen him lock up a little bit and go straight on at turn 2. And we've seen a lot of drivers do that because they applied the brakes this weekend and the grip and the bite just hasn't been there. In the covered grandstands, the crowd all standing now as the cars make their way onto the grid. Our commentary box just on the left-hand side there. We've got a perfect view on the grid here. Everyone seems to be in place at the moment, Martin.
From what I can see out of the commentary box window here, yep, they're all on their yellow lines. And I can only see half the grid. There's the president of Azerbaijan looking out.
Getting a very good view at the start of this race. Already someone's brakes smoking away on the grid from the midfield. But it's lights out and away we go. Valtteri Bottas pointing towards Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton gets away well, though, and cuts Bottas off down the inside. Goes Sebastian Vettel, tries to get the car under control and loses out to Kimi Raikkonen, so stays in 4th in the Toro Rosso. Going wide there, and that is Carlos Sainz from 14th on the grid. And look, contact there. Kimi Raikkonen has had contact with one of the Red Bulls, I think it is.
I thought it was a Mercedes.
If it wasn't Mercedes, it is Valtteri Bottas. You're right. Valtteri Bottas having a poor start there as I was looking at Carlos Sainz, another one with a poor start. Down the inside goes Daniel Ricciardo on Lance Stroll, but he doesn't quite make the move stick. And it's Hamilton out in front here in Baku, but his teammate Valtteri Bottas in trouble, and they're all squirming around looking for grip. And this is the problem Valtteri Bottas has got with his front right tyre.
A long way to go from there as well to the end of that second longest circuit in the championship on the calendar. 6 kilometres long. Spa is the only longer one at 7 kilometres. He's got a long way to bring that car back to the pits.
Daniel Ricciardo in trouble as well. We saw him dueling away with Lance Stroll, but he has now lost positions as well, has very much come out on the wrong end of that. The There's double yellow flags being waved as down at turn 2 as Sergio Perez goes up in a third place. This is what happened to Carlos Sainz. Now, I think he tangled here with his teammate, Danny Kvyat. There goes Kvyat running wide, and as he comes back onto the track, that's just enough to put Sainz off.
Yeah, I think Sainz was wrong-footed by that, but as he lit it up with torque...
Yeah, Danny came back like a madman through the track.
He just spun up the rear wheels, and around it went. Here we go then, the two Finnish drivers. And that's a heavy contact on the Ferrari as well, which I think then went off to hit the wall for good measure. And...
well, Sebastian Vettel making up a couple of places there as Bottas and Raikkonen tangled, not for the first time this season. Here comes the Red Bull.
Ricardo's ninth. I think he just dropped off the computer somewhere, Crofty. He was showing last, wasn't he? But we could certainly see him out on track.
I say 1 minute, we saw him on track trying to get past Lance Stroll. He's still trying to get past Lance Stroll. The next minute, you're right, he was right at the bottom of the computer standings. But Hamilton from Vettel, Perez from Verstappen, and Raikkonen the top 5. Let's go down to Franz Tost as Stroll locks up on the Toro Rosso pit wall. Disastrous start for your team, I'm afraid there, Franz.
You're absolutely right. At first Daniel got the start not as well, and then he came back to the track, and Carlos wanted to prevent any collision, and therefore he spun. I think that we will call him in because I expect that he has a flat spot on the front tires and not to damage anything on the car, but we will see what the next laps will show us.
We see a bit of carbon fibre coming off the bodywork there and hitting the Ferrari of Kimi Raikkonen as he goes through turn 7. Do you see it as a racing incident, the situation between Danny and Carlos, or do you actually take Carlos' side and think that Danny should have given him more room?
No, it's a racing incident. You know, these are tens of seconds where the driver have to decide, and it was a racing incident, nothing more, nothing less.
So will you bring, you said you're going to bring Carlos in for a flat spot. I'm not sure he'll have a flat spot, to be honest, because of the way the car spun, but you might as well try something different on the strategy now.
We will see, we will see. We have to look for the next laps, and then we decide what we do. Yeah, because I think there's also maybe the front wing a little bit damaged. We have to wait, we have to look to the data, and then we decide what we do.
Thanks ever so much, Franz. As you can see on your screen, Valtteri Bottas into the pits. And a lengthy examination of his car. They changed the front wing and they put on the soft compound tyre as well. And they might even have had to have waited there for the medical car to come into the pits before he could get out again.
I think I have damage from debris.
We think maybe you had debris in your rad duct. We're monitoring it, Max.
And we certainly saw bits of carbon fibre flying about there. Valtteri Bottas then back onto the track. And you can see the Haas of Kevin Magnussen alongside him. So that's down in about 11th place.
He's going to have to, he's being lapped by all of these cars, so he'll have to respect the blue flags and get out of the way for just to give him a bit of extra pain, Valtteri Bottas, and fall to the back of the pack. And, well, he's having a nightmare of a start to this Grand Prix, isn't he? So close to the wall again there. And, as I say, they're all lapping him.
So we're on lap 3 of this race. Valtteri Bottas and Danny Kvyat. And the stewards noting an incident between Kimi Raikkonen and Valtteri Bottas. And looking at that a little bit more closely. And also noting the incident between Danny Kvyat and Carlos Sainz as well. Which Franz Tost says is very much a racing incident.
Yeah, my rear definitely doesn't feel very good. Don't know what has happened there, but something has... straight after the hit, I just lost it.
Out in front, though, Lewis Hamilton, 2.2 seconds clear of Sebastian Vettel. Sergio Perez on the podium here last year runs in 3rd place from Max Verstappen and Kimi Raikkonen, Felipe Massa and Esteban Ocon, Lance Stroll, Daniel Ricciardo and Nico Hülkenberg. Verstappen's just set the fastest lap of the race.
That's good news for this race. Now it's all settling down. Vettel matched Hamilton and Verstappen in 4th, quicker than the 3 in front of him. 4 seconds covers the top 4.
Daniel Ricciardo ahead of Nico Hülkenberg. Hülkenberg's got DRS assistance. And there we go to the 2 McLarens and the 2 Saubers. We have got Ericsson ahead of Wehrlein. Van Dorn down the inside of Pascal Wehrlein. Nice move from Stoffel Van Dorn. Fernando Alonso's waiting there as well. Switches to try down the inside. Under braking. There goes Fernando Alonso and almost touches And if he does touch, it's a very slight one with the Sauber. And last year's Ferrari engine, this year's Honda engine, in a straight drag race down towards turn 3. Who's going to come out on top? Fernando Alonso is, and goes up into 15th place.
Remember, Eric Bouyer told us in the pre-show that they've taken some wing off the McLaren to try and make it a little bit faster down the straight. We saw the acceleration, the 2016 engine Sauber.
Is that okay, Valtteri? Hey, Fermi, stop for a nose change.
And you could see the Sauber just out-accelerating the McLaren. Then the McLaren came back, it must be said, when, of course, they've got their batteries to play with as well in those situations. That's worth 160 horsepower.
So there goes Sebastian Vettel down the inside on Kimi Raikkonen. Gets a little bit squeezed. You can see Kvyat going wide. And Carlos Sainz now getting ever closer to his teammates. He had to give him a bit more space. And the chasing pack, lucky there not to collect Carlos Sainz.
Yeah, Carlos a bit frustrated with his teammate coming back on, and then in a big attempt to make sure he was ahead of him, got dialed in a touch too much throttle because they weren't going to contact, but and did he tag the wall with the left front wing there? And Vettel got so close to running into the back of his teammate before Valtteri Bottas finally achieved it.
Just looking there, I think Kvyat got caught out by Lance Stroll braking a bit early as well, and that's what forced him to go wide. That's the incident between Bottas and Raikkonen.
It cannot be again the same guy hitting me. I don't know if I have a punch or...
Okay, I'm watching the pressures. Everything looks fine so far.
That's great car control from Sebastian
Wow.
Vettel. That really is.
The Ferraris nearly didn't make it to turn 2.
No.
That was...
I'll tell you what happened with
yes.
Bottas. He clipped the curb, didn't he?
He did.
And that
Jumped off the curb.
shunted him right.
Yeah.
And he had no chance of avoiding Raikkonen.
Let's see if Kimi's got... I think Kimi left him enough space, and, you can't vanish. It just about left him enough space. And, as you say, a little hop across the curb, and the inevitable.
And damage to Kimi Raikkonen's Ferrari as well, but very much the Mercedes coming off worse in that particular tangle. Now, I note that Romain Grosjean has also been into the pits and back out again on the super soft tyre. He started on the soft compound tyre in this race. Ted, down to you.
Yeah, so Grosjean, Crofty, looks like trying what he did in Canada, which was do more or less the whole race on one set of tyres. So he might go with his super soft tyre to the end. To be impressed if he can make it last. Kimi Raikkonen still complaining about the rear of the car, understandably. The hit on that right rear.
No battery. Okay, stand by.
No battery for Marcus Ericsson, losing energy recovery system deployment down the long straights. Ted, back to you.
Yeah, so it looks like the tracking might be out on that right rear. Very little they can do on that in the pit stop. They're not bringing him in at the moment, though.
Thank you, Ted. Gap out in front was 2.6 seconds. Now 3.2 seconds between the man second in the championship and the man leading the championship. Sergio Perez keeping pace with Sebastian Vettel, only 1.9 seconds behind him. We look a little bit further back. Nico Hülkenberg under pressure here and slicing his way through the field. Car number 77, Valtteri Bottas, but he is a lap down, of course. Into the pits now comes Daniel Ricciardo.
A long, very long stop. Were they changing the nose? Didn't seem enough time to be changing the nose. But they've got to do something for Ricciardo. He's going around in 1 minute 49s behind Lance Stroll. And the leaders are in the 46s and 47s. He was tucked up there and clearly couldn't overtake.
Jolyon Palmer in a bit of a duel with Pascal Wehrlein. Palmer has got himself up into 16th place, or 15th place, I should say, after Ricciardo's pit stop. Why would they bring it? They bring Daniel Ricciardo in. They put the soft tyre on, sent him back out into the racetrack again to try and go to the end.
They might do. Van Dorn, they've done the same thing with the McLaren as well. That's why he's dropped out of this particular fight. We saw him in the background, didn't we, in Ricciardo's pit stop. So it's a long way to go if that's the target.
Well, Van Dorn started on the soft tyre, didn't he?
Yeah.
And he's gone on to the super soft to give him a little bit more pace.
Yeah, super soft all the way to the end. I don't think so. 20, 25 laps, they reckon, don't they, for the supers? But we've heard that before.
Yeah, 51 laps in total, at maximum of 30 laps. Pirelli reckon on that one. The safety car could change things around a little bit, and when you're running that far down, maybe it is worth the gamble. No investigation necessary between Kvyat and Sainz, say the stewards.
Yeah, I agree with that. There wasn't contact. Nobody It was just unfortunate, really. A little bit clumsy and unfortunate.
And where are the close gaps then? The close battles, I should say, since the cars are getting strung out just a little bit at the moment. Alonso and Sainz are on board with Fernando Alonso now, down in 13th place. Carlos Sainz right behind him. There you can see the Sauber just ahead of these two as well. Two Spaniards resuming action, and we've seen a fair few incidents between those two in the past as well. And Marcus Ericsson watching his mirrors.
Okay, Marcus, keep pushing, keep pushing. How are the tires? How are the tires?
Tires are good, but I have no shock. They're coming everywhere.
I know it will take few laps to come up. It will take few laps to come up.
Alonso has a little look there, doesn't he, going into turn 3 at the end of that DRS zone. Maybe attack is the best form of defence in terms of Fernando Alonso at this moment in time. And just confirmation, Kimi Raikkonen, Valtteri Bottas, that accident at turn 2 on the opening lap, under investigation from the stewards.
Maybe they were trying to clear, they were talking about debris. That was in Verstappen's side pod though, wasn't it? Not Ricciardo. What's going on the front?
They just look, they're just checking to see if anything's got stuck in the elements on that front wing. No further action. Bottas and Raikkonen just flashed up on our screen.
Bottas was on a quick lap, on a very quick lap. He's 3/10 up on Hamilton. He decided it's time to push.
Okay, Dale, brakes are now fine. Everything is okay. We had some debris in the brake scoop and everything got very hot very quickly. So now debris is clear. You are free to race. Let's go.
Oh, that explains his pace.
Understood.
That explains his pace.
Let's get stuck into it now, mate.
He's got a lot to make up from where he is now, though. Down 17th place, Daniel Ricciardo.
But interestingly, despite Vettel doing purple sectors, first and second sector of the lap, Hamilton was 3/10 quicker in the final part of the lap and actually pulled away a 10.
On board with car number 3, Daniel Ricciardo, and he is gaining on Pascal Wehrlein ahead of him. This has been the fastest car this weekend, as the Red Bull in a straight line, with Red Bull trimming the downforce and going for all-out speed down the straights. That was fairly easy for the Australian. Moves up a place, but only into 15th. He's got, as I say, a very long way to go. So Bottas losing 18 places at the start.
Bit of smoke out the back.
It's the first time this season that Valtteri Bottas has lost places on lap 1 as well. Sebastian Vettel gaining 2 places. Sergio Perez gaining 3 places. Max Verstappen up 1 as well. Who's that? Jolyon Palmer. Now, Jolyon Palmer complained of vibrations out of the slower speed corners on his outlap to the grid, and I wonder, Martin, after they changed his engine overnight, do we have more problems for the unfortunate British driver?
Switch off, please. Switch off and coast into the entry. Careful, the brake pedal might be long.
Yeah, he just reported having a bit of smoke out the back. That finishes a totally dismal weekend for Jolyon Palmer. Lots of car issues. Hulkenberg up in P9 though, in the other one, so he's made some ground up from his grid slot.
Ted, you might be able to see Jolyon Palmer crawling.
Well, yeah, and if any of the top teams want to make a pit stop at the moment, they won't be able to because Palmer's blocking the way. He's got some marshals now to push him down to the garage. No Renault marshals, no Renault mechanics anywhere in sight to actually come and get him. So the marshal's going to push him back. That's good. We've got an answer as to the Ricciardo stop, Crofty. He had debris in his brake ducts, and the brake temperatures were going through the roof. So they cleared them out, and they're back to normal.
On board once again with Fernando Alonso. Marcus Ericsson ahead of him. But for how much longer?
Sainz presumably is right in his mirrors then.
He certainly is.
I half expected him to sail past Carlos Sainz down the straight. On the previous lap, that is.
Well, they're both getting DRS. There goes Fernando Alonso now. He's going to try going around the outside here, and does very easily on Marcus Ericsson. So Alonso's getting stuck in this afternoon, and Carlos Sainz is going to have to wait a little bit longer. Should give Alonso a nice little cushion between himself and his fellow Spaniard here.
I think Ericsson's waiting for his battery to come back into full life. So it's the equivalent of 160 horsepower that'll get a small family car along the road at plenty good enough pace, and that's just the extra from the batteries.
So here's the problem that Carlos Sainz has got, Martin. Where's the gap to try and force his way past Marcus Ericsson in the next mile or so.
I thought he'd screen past him down the straight, frankly, but he hasn't.
And right on the tail of this, Daniel Ricciardo as well. You can see the Red Bull trying to push the junior Red Bull along a bit faster.
And this is where Ricciardo's sensors will go into hyper mode.
I ask you one thing, Gary. If the car becomes dangerous because of the brake, you stop me. It's just going now.
Okay, understood.
Romain Grosjean, just asking there is race engineer Gary just to give him Gary Gannon to give him a bit of help, because I don't think he trusts the brakes, and I don't think anyone at Haas really trusts what's going on with the brakes at the moment. You said on the grid board, Martin, inconsistencies all weekend long.
Yeah, and we were talking, weren't we, this morning to the team, and they just couldn't. They put a set of brakes and they don't know what they're going to get. Some are great, some are not.
Now, there goes Carlos Sainz on the Sauber. There goes Daniel Ricciardo on Carlos Sainz and the Sauber. So Marcus Ericsson goes down into 15th. Carlos Sainz now 14th. And Daniel Ricciardo's cleared 2 cars in the process of about 100 metres.
Yeah, I started to say before we got that radio call that Ricciardo is in dangerous territory. He's recovering in a much faster car, and he's coming up against 3 other cars who are squabbling, and their focus tends to be on each other. It's cost many a Grand Prix result, that has.
We may have a blocked front right brake duct.
So this debris maybe from previous accidents, as we see Jolyon Palmer retiring for the 3rd time this season. We've also seen, Martin, things like carrier bags get in the way. Romain Grosjean last year had one of his radiators, didn't he, which halted his progress for a while. And, oh dear, there is Danny Kvyat, stopped by the side of the track. Now, this is the sort of incident that might bring out a red flag, a yellow, double wave yellows, or a safety car on board once again with the Red Bull, this time of Max Verstappen, and Verstappen in a good old scrap here with Sergio Perez. This is for the 3rd place at the moment. Perez keeping ahead of Verstappen, but he really is in a great little tussle here. And once again, Verstappen should have a bit of DRS. He does have DRS assistance. There's no way down the inside. Perez has got that covered off. Nice bit of blocking there from the Mexican. But once again, Verstappen is coming back at him.
But their pace is pretty good, as long as they don't start squabbling too hard and too long.
He almost thought for a minute he got such a good exit out of the right-hander, there was a chance. Perez soon put a stop to that. And they should be coming soon to where Danny Kvyat's car has stopped, unless the marshals have managed to push that away very quickly.
Yeah, that'll be a difficult car to get out of the way, but maybe it was near an access in the wall, because...
Yeah, look, we're coming up to it now. We can see the yellow flags being waved. There it is.
That'll need a virtual safety car. It's not really, I don't think it's in harm's way, personally, but he is.
Just on the exit of turn 12. Ted, down to you.
We're starting to get some itchy fingers on the pit wall from the engineers as to whether they press the radio saying box, box. Ferrari, if they could anticipate maybe a safety car or a virtual safety car, it might not be a bad idea for Vettel to come in and try the undercut.
Hang on, Ted.
Oh, no, issue with the engine.
No. Yeah, you can see Perez streaking away. Verstappen has a loss of power, not totally, but something has gone wrong, and he is being passed by the other Force India now. Kimi Raikkonen's got past him, Massa and Esteban Ocon as well, and not again for Max Verstappen, who's just having such dismal luck when it comes to mechanical reliability this season.
Switched himself off, didn't it, in Canada when he was flying along?
Yeah, here we go again.
Exactly.
Had problems with hydraulics, with engine mapping as well, which caused him to stop in practice on Friday. Max Verstappen, and is this terminal for him? Well, I think she might be the only person wearing a Red Bull shirt smiling in Baku at this moment in time.
Brake failure, which track was that at?
So Max Verstappen this year, we had Bahrain, he had the brake failure.
Yep, turn 4.
Taken out by Kimi Raikkonen in Spain. Had the issue with the battery in Canada. This is the 4th DNF that could be looming for him. And look, who's he got behind him now? Valtteri Bottas, who is a lap down and will any moment now unlap himself from behind Max Verstappen. but not just at this moment. On the exit of this, turn 12, still got Danny Kvyat's car stranded there. What are they going to do about safety car? That's what they're going to do about it. The safety car is coming out, and that might just now see a lot of activity in the pit lane as well.
Yeah, you'd really struggle to hit that car. You'd have to do something very silly indeed, but they don't leave cars out on track. It's not in the firing line at all.
Now, Mercedes-Benz have got their pit crew in the pit lane, but Lewis Hamilton, I think, is coming in.
They're going to have to, well, they don't have to stack the Mercedes because Bottas is out of the picture.
Right, so there goes Hamilton. Also coming in, Sebastian Vettel. Hamilton in and out with a 3-second stationary stop.
It's a no-brainer, isn't it, to stop now.
They're all filing in, Perez and Raikkonen as well.
So will Ocon have to wait behind this car? No, is the answer to that.
There's just enough gap. But what's Kimi Raikkonen just waiting there for a bit longer, I think, than he would have wanted. The Force India crew getting to work. Has Ocon lost a place here to Felipe Massa?
They didn't pit Stroll. They didn't pit Lance Stroll.
No, Stroll has stayed out. So what's going on down here? They're just looking at Max Verstappen's car as to whether they can change the steering wheel, maybe, Martin?
Nah, it's got a bag of bits in the back, hasn't it? I think it sounded awful.
Just stand by for the minute. Stand by for the minute, Max. Stand by for the minute.
So they've got another steering wheel there just to see if that will reset things.
But we saw the puff of blue smoke coming out of the back of it, didn't we? It's more than the steering wheel, I'm sure of it. We saw the big puff of smoke come out of the back.
See, Verstappen, he undid his belts.
Yeah.
Max, that is the end for us. I'm sorry about that.
And confirmation then, 4 retirements in the last 6 races for Max Verstappen, who's just getting absolutely no luck whatsoever at this moment in time. So Hamilton continues to lead, pitted, and went back out in the lead. Sebastian Vettel pitted and went back out in second. Lance Stroll is now up into 3rd place, virtue of the fact that he hasn't actually stopped yet. Sergio Perez, who has stopped, down in 4th now. Kimi Raikkonen, Felipe Massa ahead of Esteban Ocon, Nico Hülkenberg ahead of Kevin Magnussen.
The safety car is driving so slow, it's dangerous for us. We can't get the temperature in these tyres as it is.
And then Daniel Ricciardo completing the top 10. Then comes Sainz and Van Dorn, who stopped early. Ericsson, Grosjean, Wehrlein and Bottas. The 3 that are out, Verstappen, Kvyat and Palmer. Did this safety car go any faster for the drivers?
Honestly, if you're in the safety car, you'd be moderately terrified. They're pushing quite hard. He's a quick driver. So whether he's giving it full beans down the straights, it didn't look like it there, did it? But the advantage of a safety car now in clearing that car away is you get the pack all in one place on the track and buy yourself some time.
Now look at this on Kimi Raikkonen's car. Now, as Ted said, he's been complaining about debris and complaining about damage on his car.
Sort of a barge board was stuck down. Now they're pitted. See, Massa was ahead of Stroll, so maybe they just didn't want to double stack, but that's going to cost Lance Stroll, depending on exactly where the pack get to. By the time he comes out of the pits, he might be all right.
I think it might have cost him quite a lot, actually, Martin. Yeah. He's coming back out onto the racetrack now. Valtteri Bottas has unlapped himself behind Stroll, who now comes out just behind Ocon, actually down in 7th, so not too bad.
No, it wasn't too bad. So if they release the lapped runners, that will put Bottas back onto the lead lap.
It will.
Which they tend to do after a safety car. With a virtual safety car, cars are still coming around all the time. They're not, they're spread out around the track. The actual safety car backs them all up into one sort of crocodile tail and one part of the but it's I wonder if you could cover that with a virtual safety car.
Ted, down to you.
Yeah, so firstly on Williams, it would have been very tight for them to stack both cars in the pits and not obstruct Force India. Stroll, when he did stop just now, had to be held because the Renault of Hülkenberg was coming down the pit, so he lost a little bit more time on that. It was spot on in the pit window, wasn't it, Crofty? Lap 12.
Hang on, Ted.
So just feedback, Kimmy, we have seen the car heavily damaged on the left-hand side. I'm sure that's where the loss is coming from. Nothing we can do for now.
So it's spot on for the cars in the top 4 or 5 to actually make it to the end on these soft tyres. The people who had to pit earlier, Daniel Ricciardo and Valtteri Bottas, have actually changed their tyre strategy yet again. They've both gone back on to the faster super soft tyres, the red stripe.
Yeah, well, everyone else on the soft. Well, pretty much everyone else on the soft. And you can understand Hamilton's concern, and probably a lot of the other drivers' concern. Those soft tyres will be losing temperature massively behind the safety car, which has come out because of this. Danny Kvyat stopping by the side of the track. Franz Tost, can you shed any light as to exactly what happened?
We don't know exactly what happened, but we lost the complete electric for whatever reason. There was no energy anymore, even not the radio, nothing worked anymore, and therefore it's difficult for us to estimate what exactly happened on the car.
It has to be said that this weekend we have seen a lot more unreliability from these hybrid engines. Is there a particular reason for that? Is it track specific, France, or what?
No, I don't think it's track specific. There were some problems also in the past, and regarding Toro Rosso, it was the first failure. If it was the power unit, we don't know yet.
France, we saw as we're watching Lance Stroll trying to get his car slowed down for the speed limit line. Whether he did or not is another matter. I must say your car looks a bit precarious on the strap that it's on the crane. Do you often get damage when they're taking cars off the track like that, when you get them back?
Unfortunately, yes. I hope that they do a good job, but not because the car doesn't have any damage currently, and I hope that we get back a complete car without any damage.
Thanks ever so much, France. Commiserations. And let's hope that Carlos can get to the end of this race. This time last year, both Toro Rossos were out here in Baku with suspension failure. So far on lap 15 in Baku in 2017, one has gone because of a loss of electrics. Jolyon Palmer out of this race as well with mechanical issues. Max Verstappen with engine problems, we think, in his Red Bull as well. So 3 out of the race. Valtteri Bottas right at the rear.
You need to push up to the cars ahead. I mean, I'm right on his tail, you know, but the safety car is really slow.
It does look slow, but then again, this is a very slow section of track anyway.
Yeah, it's normally a bit more on its door handles than that, isn't it, the safety car? I wonder.
But then, you see, there's people on the track here, Martin. There's a car and there's a tractor as well. Well, actually, that's been cleared. But that, if there were people there, you would imagine why the safety car would have been going slow. The lap cars can now overtake.
Which of those running, that's only Valtteri Bottas.
So he gets a nice lap where he can get his tyres up to a bit of temperature as well.
Yeah, they'll probably release the pack before he gets all the way around, but that puts him now in with a chance of some World Championship points. He can leg it as hard as he likes now, as long as he doesn't go past an incident zone, as long as he respects. I always think it sort of throws a bit of danger into the whole thing, but it also extends the safety car that interrupts the flow of the race. So they've got now these soft tyres on the yellow mark soft tyres that warm-up has been an issue. So now temperatures go down, so your ride heights go down, and you just won't have the grip when you get going. What can you do about it? You could keep pressing the brakes like crazy and then pressing the throttle, so you can warm up the rears and you can warm up generally, but it's really hard to get the front tyres where you need them, which is why they start weaving. But you need some speed on, you need some downforce working away to compress the tyres, otherwise you're wasting your time.
Ted, down to you.
That safety car worked out quite nicely for Crofty, and that's Fernando Alonso. I can't guarantee what's going to happen when they restart. He's got Sainz right behind him, and then his teammate. But he's in 11th at the moment, and you never know. Can I suspend the commentator's curse for a moment?
Yes.
By saying that with the attrition rate as we're looking at the moment, what started off as Eric Boulier, his boss's worst weekend in motor racing, might be rewarded with a point. You never know.
It is possible. anything is possible from here on in. Romain Grosjean's pitted again, just to let you know, behind the safety car.
There's a lot of scary debris incidents going on out there.
You should just slow the bunch up in one go, just to give the other car time to get round.
So stay with the safety car, 10 car lengths.
Just reminded of the procedure for when we get going again. Just looking down there, Grosjean was running at the back, and it was pretty much a free pit stop for him. George Russell watching on, a young driver in GP3 and testing for Mercedes in Hungary after the Hungarian Grand Prix, and doing both days for Mercedes, while Valtteri and Lewis start their summer break, as pretty much everyone else will do in Formula One after the Hungarian Grand Prix as well.
So the cars were lapping in something around 105 seconds. They're now doing 182 seconds behind the safety car. It's not that slow, but it feels slow when you're in first gear in a Formula 1, first and second gear in a Formula 1 car.
So it seems like warm-up might be quite poor, Kimi. They've given a message to Bottas that his tyre temps are still low, and obviously he's unlapped himself and he's pushing full space.
That was interesting information. So you might say, well, why don't they have a racing car as a safety car that can go around? But the safety car has to sit there on the key in all kinds of weather conditions. Yep. You can't have slicks or wets on it or whatever. And it's not going to be able to be anything like as fast as a Formula 1 car, and be as available for all the different scenarios it has to face in different weather conditions, and it's in on this lap.
And it's a lot less expensive than running a Formula 1 car as a safety car as well.
Of which the teams bring 60 people to operate.
Correct. They could get the two-seater out, Martin.
Yeah.
Maybe do that. Right, here we go then. Safety cars peeling away. Now, who has got some temperature in their tyres and brakes to make it through turn one? Because that could be quite tricky for all the cars as they go racing once again here in Baku as fast as they dare. And look at that, there's the Force India of Sergio Perez right behind Sebastian Vettel. Pulls out now alongside the Ferrari, and he's going to try and out-drag him down towards turn one. Hamilton leads, Perez is just ahead. On is the Williams ahead of Kimi Raikkonen, and Esteban Ocon's gone past Raikkonen, who's got damage once again to his front wing, and bits have flown off that front wing. Vettel just stays ahead of Sergio Perez. Then comes Felipe Massa and Esteban Ocon and Kimi Raikkonen. Behind Raikkonen comes Lance Stroll as well, but Kimi in a little bit of trouble and losing downforce because of more damage to that front wing. Hamilton then, towards the end now of the next long straight, has managed to negotiate the first three corners and keep his lead from Sebastian Vettel, but Vettel under huge pressure there from Sergio Perez.
It was an important move for the World Championship leader to keep that place, because he got caught napping a little bit, and I imagine they wouldn't be completely flat out through those last kinks.
Safety car again, Martin. Safety car again.
Tyre temps are critical. Tyre temps are critical. Front and rear tyres are critical.
And probably falling even more so now.
I was thinking, tell me something I don't know. It must be like driving on ice.
And that is why we have a safety car again. We saw the damage to Kimi Raikkonen's front wing, and we can have a little look again. That's Sebastian Vettel and Sergio Perez in the foreground. Massa has got ahead of Raikkonen. Ocon now ahead of Raikkonen. That's where things start to let go from the Ferrari barge board.
I think it was just
coming off.
I wonder if it was the piece that was stuck down and near his front wing that literally
just
was already damaged, has actually just left the car.
I'm not seeing any movement from the garages at all, but I wonder if this is a chance, possibly not, for a free pit stop here. If they all came in, Martin, to get rid of the soft tyres, yes, but at the moment, probably not a good idea.
Well, they're not enjoying being out on them, especially
they're coming through the pit lane anyway. They're going to come through the pit lane anyway.
Yeah, which means they can stop. So they're coming through the pit lane because they're obviously clearing up the pit straight.
Well, we didn't have a safety car last year. 2 for the price of 1 this year.
But to be honest, they all managed it, didn't they?
Okay, Lewis, that was pretty close on that last restart.
Close to what?
The safety car and safety car line 1.
Trust me, it wasn't.
Okay, copy.
Yeah, in other words, you nearly overtook the safety car before the first safety car line, and you're not allowed to do that. And the problem, you know, Lewis has to judge that. Whoever's leading has to judge that, Crofty. You let the safety car go, and then you rock up over 200 miles an hour, you've got to try and judge when you think it'll be in the pits. That's not an exact science.
We saw it in GP2 last year, here in Baku, when it was GP2 and not F2 as it is now. Nice clear bit of track there, and here's all the cars behind the safety car once again.
A barge board or a front wing element hit on the head at a couple of 100 miles an hour is serious.
Yeah.
That's why they have to clear this stuff up. You know, there's enough mass in that.
Is there a big crash somewhere?
Negative, just debris. There's just debris on the track from the restart. It was messy.
I'll tell you what's also on the track, because it's actually right outside our commentary box, is the letters VET. And it's right by the side of the pit wall. I don't think it's going to get in anyone's way, but it's fallen off the what I assume is the Mercedes pit board for Lewis Hamilton to tell him that it's Sebastian Vettel right behind it. Yeah. But it's the sort of thing that if a car was going down that side, Martin, might get flicked up in the air.
It would. VSC out then.
I've obviously just seen a sign that I think said VSC, but...
Well, is he saying why is there not a VSC? Because then they could go around that little bit faster and keep those tyre temperatures a little more where the drivers would like them.
So pit lane entry is open now if they want to make a pit stop.
The marshals retrieving Sebastian Vettel. Well, his three-letter abbreviation, the TLA. Well done, sir.
17 cars still running somehow.
And we've lost Verstappen, Kvyat and Palmer. For the fourth time in 6 races we've lost Max Verstappen, and the man who has led every lap since the completion of the Monaco Grand Prix, Lewis Hamilton, has led every lap here.
Don't look down this straight. Stay in the middle of the track. Just watch for debris, possible right-hand side before you get to turn 15.
And Bottas is no longer last. He's ahead of Vettel now. And he is on the back of the pack. Valtteri Bottas can still get a handful of points, and Lewis Hamilton was thinking about that, wasn't he? He said, you know, back it up and let him get round to the back of the field. Bit of team play.
Wehrlein came in to the pits again for a third stop in this race and put the super soft tyre on. Which will be interesting to see what his pace is like compared to some of those ahead of him. If he can clear the super soft runners like Grosjean, Ericsson as well.
But pitting under this safety car is a whole lot different to the last safety car, Crofty, because they're all packed up, of course, from the first safety car. You would lose a bunch of places if you did that.
Yeah, there's no point unless they all did it. And they wouldn't all do it because some are actually on the tyres they want to be at the moment, including Stoffel Van Dorn in 13th on those super soft tyres. We're watching Daniel Ricciardo as well in 9th. Once we get to the restart.
The safety car needs to speed up because this is too slow.
Ricciardo on the super softs, ahead of him Nico Hülkenberg on the soft tyre, as is Lance Stroll and Kimi Räikkönen as well. So Ricciardo, after the early exchanges where he had debris in his brake ducts, is Martin not in a bad position if he can get some overtaking done.
You're right. Yeah. You're right, he might be able to safety cars in this lap, but normally Lewis would pull up alongside the safety car if he thought he went and get on his back bumper, give him a clue he wanted to go a little bit faster. So now he's got to judge him. So they call turn 16 the last corner. This is 8, which is miles from home, isn't it? And it's not easy to judge at the best of times. And Lewis has led enough Grand Prix and followed enough safety cars, he knows the business.
Check even more tyre temperature. It's possible to get even more tyre temperature, especially fronts. Fronts are now critical.
And he could do that by stamping on the brakes maybe, but he doesn't want to stamp on them too much, because we're now trying to build up a little bit of speed here. And it'd be interesting, can Perez get the jump this time on Sebastian Vettel?
I'd be really nervous through with that really quick section just as they come onto the pit straight through between the walls. As how much grip have you got? You just don't know.
Vettel is desperate here not to let Sergio Perez come within an extra millimetre of his rear wing, trying to get as much of an advantage as he can. Look, this is down at turn 15. Lewis is backing up the pack a little bit. And, he went into him. He might have lost a bit of front wing there, Sebastian Vettel. And he's saying to Hamilton, what did you do? You stamped on the brakes, and I might have damage now on my front wing as a result of it. And I've got Sergio Perez right behind me, and this could be very, very tricky indeed for the championship leader. There's a bit come off his front wing as we get racing once again. Hamilton then leads them down the straight. Sergio Perez already pulling out to the right-hand side. He's after Vettel. Felipe Massa's after Vettel. And as we see Sebastian Vettel under pressure now down the inside, goes Felipe Massa in the Williams. Can't quite get past him, but he still might hang on in there. The two Force India scrapping away. Perez has lost a place to Massa, and Vettel somehow manages to hang on to second place. Well done, Massa, as the two Force Indias collide there, and there's big damage to Perez's front wing.
Both damaged.
You're right, Esteban Ocon might have a puncture there in his right rear as well. But the two Force Indias allowed to race by their team, and they've come a cropper there as Massa still continues to press the Ferrari.
Felipe Massa thought he was going to be retired this year. Here he is, fighting in a podium place and all over the back of the Ferrari. We've seen pieces flying off the Ferrari. Will we need another safety car to pick up that debris? I think when Vettel pulled up alongside Hamilton, they may actually have touched again.
Certainly something flew off the front wing. It looked like a Vettel's Ferrari.
Oh, definitely. No doubt about that at all.
And is Raikkonen in trouble here as well?
Looks a bit like a puncture the way his steering's handling. Yes, it is. Right rear puncture.
Oh, he's down in 15th already, Kimi Raikkonen.
Safety car.
For the third time in quick succession, another safety car. This is turning into a dramatic afternoon on the streets of Baku, where Hamilton is hanging on to the lead, but behind him, Sebastian Vettel under all sorts of pressure. Felipe Massa making up places and now into the podium positions, and the two Force India as well. The debrief is going to be a bit feisty tonight in the Force India garage. Big puncture there for Ocon.
Yeah.
What did Esteban do, guys?
Checker, we think front wing, confirm, we think front wing.
No, the car is just pointing to the left massively. Damage.
Right rear puncture.
So Ocon basically shunted his teammate into the wall there, Martin.
Yeah.
Was there a gap? Was he entitled to go for it?
No, I don't think getting up against your teammate like that, it was all getting pretty punchy, wasn't it? But I think I would give that one to Esteban Ocon in terms of blame. Perez saying, look, steering's not straight either.
Kimi Raikkonen, and that's not just a puncture, that's causing a huge amount of damage, I suspect, Martin, to the bodywork and the floor. Oh, slow down, Kimi.
Okay, now I got puncture from debris.
Right, so the Force Indians have made their way back. Ted, down to you.
Yeah, but even the pit crew don't know which one's going to come first. It is Sergio Perez without a front wing, and it looks like they're going to get him out of the way because they believe he's absolutely... Sergio's kind of... He's coming right straight towards me and doesn't know what's happening. No, it's car off, so they know that it's terminal to Sergio Perez. I'm interested in how they know that, Crofty. Is it obvious to you? Because Esteban Ocon behind him, he's the one who's getting service. They can't actually get the car up to reach both cars on, to get both
the
tyres
Ferrari's
on.
out as well, Ted.
Yeah,
he can't drive that. He's ripped the floor away. That's out of the race. Kimi Raikkonen.
And there's Ocon rejoined.
I tell you how they'll know by the push rod loads, Ted. They'll know from his push rod loads on the telemetry.
Oh yeah, I can see it now. Front left wishbone cracked.
Yeah,
and that is Sergio Perez, 37 race finishing streak, 4 short of the all-time record for classified finishes, ending here in Baku this afternoon. Nick Heifeld carries on with that record.
Okay, Kimi, we go ahead with a change. We'll look at the car, decide what to do.
So they're going to try and...
I'll change the rear wing because the end plate is broken.
That's exactly what they're going to try and do.
Switch off, Kimi.
That's got about 3 hours work on it, the under tray, everything.
The amount of safety cars we're getting in, Martin, they might still have a chance. Now, Sergio Perez, they pushed back to try and service the car whilst the marshals try and clear the track. And you'll notice from the graphic and the tower on the left-hand side of the screen, not only Felipe Massa up into 3rd place, but Lance Stroll now running 4th for Williams, who are benefiting massively by the two Force Indias coming together. And Daniel Ricciardo now up to 5th, managed to get past Nico Hülkenberg.
Okay, Checo, yep, you are out.
So they're still trying to strap him back in for some reason. That might be an old radio message.
Yeah.
And that's an old bit of Formula One car.
It's not going to get used again.
What a chaotic race. Kimi needed to be doing about a quarter of the speed he was, but he had a long way to get back. But look at the whole of the undertray. And the other side's all smashed up as well from the other incidents he's had.
Yeah. It's been demolition derby for Kimi Raikkonen on this Sunday. Let's have a little look again. There's a gap down the inside, and once again, Ocon got onto the curb in the same way Bottas did to Raikkonen. Ocon took too much curb.
And then Kimi just ran over this debris, and that is what punctured his tyre. Didn't hit anything.
Now, the stewards, meanwhile, who've got a busy afternoon, and have had a busy afternoon, are looking in to the turn 16 incident between Lewis Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel, in which, from what we saw, Lewis applied the brakes quite sharply, and Sebastian Vettel went into the back of him and damaged his front wing.
You're not allowed to accelerate and brake, accelerate, brake. We were talking about that earlier on, but he also then had to let the safety car get away.
Yeah.
So I don't think I can't see they'll be penalising Hamilton for that. Now, what fell off the Ferrari? And how much does it matter? It looks kind of all right from there, doesn't it? But something came off it, without doubt.
It wouldn't have been something from the rear of the Mercedes, but there was definitely something flew off.
Yeah.
We have lost from this race. Sorry, Martin.
I can say Force India had a chance here of a dramatic haul of points.
And by letting their drivers race, which Otmar Safanow, the COO, said that's exactly what we're going to do, accidents happen.
Yeah,
I think ideally will be red flag. It's true, there is debris everywhere. And it's too fast on this circuit to have this risk around.
Well, we wouldn't mind that at the moment, Alonso. Red flag, they could change the tyres. That's the damage on Perez's Force India. That's where you can see front left suspension there. He's not going to go any further. Alonso apparently running in 8th place in this race, but he'd dearly love, I'm sure, to change the tyre and to get back onto the super softs. We've lost in this race. Danny Kvyat with an electrical problem, Max Verstappen with an engine problem, Kimi Raikkonen with all sorts of debris, breakages, punctures, you name it. Raikkonen's had it today, and Sergio Perez with a failed suspension there as well, and they have red flagged this race. The drivers will now come into the pit lane whilst the marshals get a proper chance to clear up this track with all the bits of carbon fibre that are strewn around it. The red flag is being shown and deployed, and on lap 22 the racing will stop for a while.
So is it a broom and dustbin? Is it a machine? Is it a cleaning machine they're going to put out?
Well, they have had blowers here, actually blowing bits of debris towards the side. I've seen those.
Now, under the latest regulations, you're not allowed any longer to start working on the car, changing tyres, as we've seen in the past, under red flag situations. So they will go to into the pit lane, line up, and await news as to when the restart will come.
And I mentioned all the drivers that were out of this race, and I stopped short of naming Jolyon Palmer, and that's because we can hear from him right now. He's with Rachel.
Joe, I'm not really sure what to say to you right now today. Just first of all, problem with the engine, was it?
It was, yeah. I had a bit of a misfire already on the way around to the grid. It was getting a bit worse and worse, and then eventually it stopped. So we had to turn it off and save it for another day.
Reset and go again, I guess?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's a shame because, you know, I was hoping for the chaos race that it's actually turning into at the moment. We're getting up to 15th and catching a big group ahead. So actually, it was feeling quite good out there. But it's just been one of those weekends. I think I've done about 30 laps this weekend. It's been crazy. But hopefully, I've said this a few times this year, but I'm really confident / hopeful that this will be the end of our bad luck now, and we can get to Austria and clean slate, get some points, get some good results on the board.
That's almost the chirpiest I've seen Jolyon Palmer so far this weekend. He's not been a very happy man at all. Nothing he could do about it today. 11th in the last couple of races, retiring from this one And this one is turning into quite an afternoon. The two championship protagonists, first and second once again. Hamilton, who came into the race with a 12-point deficit, leads from Sebastian Vettel. And Williams, the last team to actually lead a race outside of Mercedes, Red Bull or Ferrari, and that was at Silverstone in 2015. And the next two cars down the road, Massa ahead of Stroll, and boy did they need a big points haul, given that they started this race 7 points behind Toro Rosso, but 48 points behind, 47 points behind Force India. So we'll have a proper chance to clean the debris, to clear the track, and I would imagine, Martin, for a lot of mechanics to have a very close inspection as to what has been damaged and what hasn't on all of these cars.
Yeah, Lewis already pulling various bits out of here, haven't they? It's been the story of the race,
here we go
hasn't it?
again, let's see.
Yeah.
Definitely. To me.
You watch when he goes alongside, I think they touch again.
Yeah, they do.
Do they ever?
He drives into him.
Yeah.
He brake tested me. What the is going on?
Understood, we're reporting it. Focus on
I have damage, I think.
Hang on a minute. He's got a front wing end plate that's come off there. But Martin, the last time I can recall anyone doing something like this was Pastor Maldonado to Lewis Hamilton at Spa after qualifying. He did drive into it.
He did. Incredible. I thought he had, because the way we were on board, weren't we? And it just bumped, but...
So did Hamilton turn his steering wheel towards Vettel? No, he doesn't.
Vettel literally just came alongside me and turned in and hit me.
So Hamilton's job there is to let the safety car get out of the way so they don't catch it at 220 miles an hour.
Yeah.
That's what he's going to say he's doing.
Well, the key thing for me there, and what the stewards I think will be looking at, is what input, if any, did Hamilton have on his steering wheel, and what were the inputs on Sebastian Vettel's steering wheel. Now, we saw the Ferrari come towards and hit the Mercedes, but it looked to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, that Hamilton didn't turn to the left.
Oh, no, 100%. Vettel was angry. He went and thumped him, effectively, using his F1 car.
He can't do that.
He did. But, yeah, it's an extraordinary thing to do, to risk like that. But.
So the stewards have to decide then on Sebastian Vettel's conduct, but then we'll also need to look at, did Lewis Hamilton a brake test, in the words of Sebastian Vettel, the German driver? Was Vettel right to be angry? I'm not saying right to drive into anybody, but was he right to be angry? Let's have a look at it again, Martin. There goes that front wing end plate. And now Seb will pull up alongside.
I can't see what the stewards will find. Hamilton say, look, I was letting the safety car go. I had to let the safety car go. And obviously, Seb Vettel was thinking, we'll do that, you know,
a little bit further down the road.
Further down the road. There's, you know, Lewis didn't accelerate and jumped on the brakes. He just didn't accelerate at all.
No. I mean, we caught this late, and I said at the time, you know, Vettel looks in a real hurry to get away from Sergio Perez.
Well, he's going to have the same problem with Massa when they finally get going as well, isn't he?
But he had one restart where Perez almost overtook him, and obviously he didn't want Perez to be too close to him, and a shake of the head there. And
I wonder why Vettel hasn't been down to speak to Hamilton about it. Well, it's not really protocol, but there's nothing to stop you. So they're not allowed to...
You mean like Michael Schumacher did when he tried to find DC all those years ago at Spa?
They were out of the race, though, weren't they? This is a... So... Third and fourth for Williams at the moment. They're having a day and a half.
Lance Stroll, who went and tested the 2014 car in between Canada and this race, went to Austin, had a private test there, and worked on issues he and the team thought that needed a little bit of work on after his first 7 races. See, I think Ricciardo there.
So I think the conversation there is you cannot follow the Williams. You've got to pass them, otherwise you're too close to overheating.
His problem, of course, Bradley Joyce, the race engineer for Esteban Ocon. Ricardo's problem is he is definitely going to have to stop again because he hasn't run the soft tyres yet.
Yeah, it's a mandatory tyre.
Unless he puts the soft on now, which you feel might not be the best idea because he's going to be that much slower than, well, you see that again, than these guys who you assume are going to go straight back on the super soft.
That's a fearsome temper Seb Vettel showing there, because the chances of breaking your front suspension are quite high if you pull that trick.
I rather get the feeling we might have a few tweets about this. Hashtag Ask Crofty after the race. And I rather get the feeling he could be in a bit of trouble today, Sebastian Vettel as well.
You're not allowed to. If you pull your car out of the fast lane under the red flag, you're deemed to have, be pulling it not out of the race but out of the restart lineup. That's why they're all working out there and doing repairs, but they cannot change the tyres anymore. I'm sure that got implemented this year, didn't it? You can't change the tyres.
Can for next year. I know you can't for next year change the tyres.
It was implemented in 2017. That
Okay.
was solved
that was
solved Ricardo's problem, but it's based
but he will have to stop again.
It was based in Monaco, wasn't
Yes.
it? When right at the end of the race, when tyre wear looked like it was going to be a deciding factor in the race, they all got a brand new set of tyres.
Discussions and it's not a debrief, it's not a pre-brief, it's a during brief. The stewards confirming they are looking at that incident between Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton. No great surprise there at all. Fernando Alonso in a very good position at the moment to be scoring points once we get this race going. We have still got a lot of laps to complete. What do you say? If you're Maurizio Arriva-Bene, what do you say to Sebastian Vettel? Do you need to try and calm him down?
Probably, and just sharing anything they've learned from the pit wall and other data that the driver's been too busy to know about or care about. I think if anybody takes a penalty from that incident, it'll be Vettel.
So I'm just trying to think back to incidents during the race, but I definitely remember Pastor Maldonado after qualifying where he felt Hamilton had blocked him at Spa. I mean, round the source and then driving into him as they were slowing down.
And you got a penalty for that.
He did, yeah. Rightly so.
That was a proper shunt, though, wasn't it? That was a.
It was a bit more of a bang, yeah. But already Daniel Ricciardo has had an eventful afternoon, shall we say. The clock ticks past 6 o'clock here in Baku. I think we're all right for time in terms of sunlight here. The track temperature falling as well. 44 degrees, and that's how they are sweeping the track and getting rid of all this debris.
We're not in danger of running out of daylight here, as we were back in Korea, for example.
that was an evening.
Yes.
I looked out of the commentary box as the drivers crossed the line of the checkered flag, and it was almost pitch black out there.
The podium was in the dark.
Yeah, it was.
So they've got to run a maximum of 2 hours in the race within a 4-hour period. So that's why you see one of the clocks, we've got it up on screen, one clock stops and the other clock doesn't. The race clock stops, but the overall time will not.
And if the race can't be completed, to get full points out of this race, a 51-lap race, it'll be after 39 laps. So we need to get 39 laps in to get full points in this race. There's confirmation that we have 10 minutes to go until the race restarts. Uncle Paddy getting a message there. And I have seen quite a few fans behind our commentary boxes in the fan zone here in the park area. I'd say it's the highest attended race, but there's a lot of British fans have come over as well. Great to see them all here. I think even a couple of fans got engaged in the Mercedes garage on Thursday.
Good for them. So it's amazing, isn't it? The two Force Indy boys hit each other. The two Ferrari boys nearly hit each other in the first corner. Two Toro Rosso boys nearly hit each other.
And Sebastian and Lewis.
Yeah.
Charlie, can you not see that the safety car is actually dangerous? If we put this, just make us all go slow with the VSC, there will be no crashes.
He's been fairly consistent on that for quite a while, Lewis Hamilton. While we were going around, that's a virtual safety car, where the drivers all adhere to a set time and they can't go faster than it, would be better than the actual safety car itself.
Which confused me a bit because they're not particularly quick behind the virtual safety car. What it does do help Lewis on is the pack doesn't keep turning up on his gearbox.
Yeah, exactly. So the two Force Indias hitting each other. Let's get some reaction from down at Force India with their deputy team principal, Bob Fernley's with Simon.
Yeah, Bob, not ideal to say the least. Just tell us what the conversation's like at the back of the garage right now.
Well, our conversation's fine. You know, we're just trying to get them back into place. Obviously, we're also trying to get Checo back in, even though he's a lap or two down, given where we are at the moment with the events that are going on. You know, you never know, you might get him back. So we're trying all aspects.
What was your take on the incident? I think we're going to have another look at it here, Bob. I mean, obviously, just coming off the back of the safety car, the tyres aren't going to be up to temperature. Was there anything to do with that, or do you think it was Ocon's fault?
I think we'll have to look at it a bit closer. I mean, it's the first time I'm actually seeing that, but there's contact there, you can see. So, yeah, we'll have to have a little look at it closer.
I mean, it's very difficult to apportion blame on a restart like this. I think Sebastian's gone for a gap there, and it's just squeezed, and then they got interlocked, didn't they, really?
Yeah.
It was a bit unfortunate.
Yeah.
I mean,
he
didn't deliberately crash into...
No, and I think there was a little bit of contact previous to that with Ocon and one of the Williams, so whether that destabilised it, I don't know. We'll have to have a look at it.
Doubly galling because you're in a great position there, Bob.
Very good. But unfortunately for us, he's put Williams in an even better position, so we need to just see if we can recover.
OK, I'll let you get back to it. I know you're very busy. Yeah, in the meantime, Damien, let's get your take on that incident between Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton. I mean, extraordinary, really, when you think about it. It looks like the red mist just descended.
Absolutely. I mean, it's the hot-headedness. You know, they're normally very, very cool and controlled. Sebastian Vettel, he has been known, hasn't he, at moments. Here we are, get a replay, and of course he's expected Lewis to accelerate, and he hasn't. And he's punched at the back of Lewis's car and then biffed him. Really, that's a rush of blood to the head, and he should have more control, self-control, in my view.
You understand why he'd be angry in the first place, Johnny George, as you were watching that down in our race control there. You know, he's angry, understandably, because he's been brake tested by Lewis. But to do that, I mean, now what sort of penalty are we looking at from the stewards? You've been a steward. If that happened, you're in that position, what would you do?
Well, I don't know. I think we've got to analyse this a little bit different, because I think it seems to be, to me, that Sebastian accelerated through the corner, where actually Lewis himself was actually keeping a constant speed. Then he went into the back of it. I think he was just trying to keep as close as he possibly can. Then when he pulled out, then he sort of moved the steering to the right as if, well, I want to get close to him. But I think as his hand goes up, he doesn't turn the steering wheel straight.
That was road rage.
Yeah, that was road rage. Yeah,
he's angry. He's either angry at himself or he's angry at Lewis.
I think angry at himself.
But, I mean, if you had to do that on the public roads, you'd get arrested, wouldn't you?
You certainly would. But I think at the end of the day, I think it's something the stewards have got to do. But it looks to me as if I think Sebastian is going to be the man probably in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, you wonder. Just to reiterate what people are talking about. Black flags have been mentioned. We're all talking about things down here. The most severe penalty, just going through the rules and regulations, in common use is a black flag, which may be imposed for ignoring penalties or for technical irregularities of any sort. It signifies that the driver has been disqualified for the race and his results of that race will not count towards the championship. So that's the most severe. Then you can have a ban, and then you can be excluded from the drivers. And they're not going that far right now, obviously, but it's a difficult one, that.
Well, I think it's sort of clear in many respects, because I don't think Lewis, to me, did anything particularly wrong. He didn't brake test him. I don't believe that's data they're going to have to take. It's then the man behind who has then got to be aware of what's happening in front. And of course, these are difficult situations with these safety cars. He lost out in that very first one, so he didn't want to lose out this time around. But of course, he just carried too much speed when Lewis didn't accelerate, so he just went straight into the back of it.
Yeah, no mention in that black flag of causing an accident, though. OK, we'll keep you up to date with that one. Let's hear from Ted.
So in the pit lane down here, the broken Sebastian Vettel front wing, and it was the whole just inside cascade wing of the right-hand side of the end plate is just being carried back into the Ferrari garage. So they've been able to change that. The result of that little bit of handbags, road rage, call it what you want, has meant that with the approval of the FIA, Sebastian Vettel, here we go, gets a brand new front wing. I guess it's causing a collision. I mean, strictly speaking, Crofty, it's causing a collision. The driver of car number 5 caused a collision. And that tends to be penalised by anything from a 5-second penalty to a drive-through to a 10-second penalty added to the race time. I don't think we're talking about exclusions, but he certainly caused a collision because he drove into him. There you can see Sergio Perez has taken his place back in the race, so they fixed that wishbone at the front. And I've just checked with Jonathan Wheatley, Crofty, about as to when the rule comes in as to when you have a standing restart after a red flag session.
Yeah.
And Jonathan Wheatley, team manager of Red Bull, is absolutely sure that's next year.
It is.
So just to confirm to everybody, I thought we were on for it this year, actually. Let's get that's a nice rule. Let's get that started today. But apparently that is next year.
That is definitely for next year. I've just checked with Red Bull, and in all the chaos in the opening stages and the fact that our computer up here wasn't quite giving us the right information, Daniel Ricciardo has run on the soft compound tyre, so he doesn't need to pit again, which makes me think, Martin, that he fancies a chance of a podium here today. Just as Helmut Marko predicted that Red Bull will be on the podium, and he spoke to you before the start of this race.
Yeah, he fancies a run at those Williams, doesn't he? But they'll not be easy to pass in a straight line.
If he does get third place, he will equal the most pointless record in Formula One, and that's to finish in the same place.
Shortly we'll be able to go to the end of the pit lane, where we will start the car. Then you will do a lap all the way around, and you'll stay on circuit. In that time, the rest of the group will have left the end of the pit lane, and you'll rejoin the back of the group, but you will have gained one lap, obviously, on where you are at the moment. Okay?
And under the safety car, I cannot pass the other time. I cannot recover the other lap.
Checker, we think not. No, it's going to be one lap.
And Kimi Räikkönen comes back out.
They've done well on that floor. They've stuck a new floor on it.
Dave Greenwood, his race engineer, running alongside there, saying, come on, get him out into the pit lane in time, because we're very near to the start and the resumption here. So Perez rejoining, Kimi Räikkönen rejoining as well. That's great work to get Kimi Räikkönen back out into this race. Has he got any gloves? There he has now.
That'll be a right bit. They've had to throw a floor underneath that.
But I would assume that they can't unlap themselves, the back markers, because they don't need to. They can stay out of the way. The only reason the cars unlap themselves is because they need to get out of the way of any battles ahead.
What are they going to do for this start? Because it's going to be more dangerous now, fresher tyres.
Sorry, Lewis, it's Shop here. The only thing in the rules that they can do is a safety car restart. It's the only option that they've got. But we took your point that VSCs are a lot easier than doing restarts.
Right. As the leader of the race, he's a little bit concerned, isn't he? And where's Kimi trying to go? Okay, so Ferrari think that Kimi can get out on track, as Sergio Perez has done as well, to go round and then take their place at the back.
It's all part of the restart process. But they will then, if they have a safety car restart, they will possibly. It's not guaranteed that they let the lap runners through.
Yeah. Well, how many laps were they down? That's the thing. Have they actually just unlapped themselves? Ted, let's cross down to you.
Crofty, I don't think Kimi had a steering wheel, did he? I think he was ready to go, and they were being wheeled down. He's being wheeled down, and he shouted on the radio, "Steering wheel! Can someone get me a steering wheel?" So they'd taken it off. I'm sure Kimi was out the back. I won't say that he was having an ice cream and a can of Coke, but I would imagine he was knowing Kimi, he's probably started to change out of his race suit and have a shower and think about his bad luck today. Someone must have said, "Come on, wait, you never know what's going to happen in a crazy race like this. Even though it'll be several laps down, they might get some points over this." But Hamilton's concern is genuine, because it's exactly the same situation. With this long straight, the characteristic of this circuit, Crofty, means that the safety car, even on top whack, isn't going to be anywhere near as quick as the Mercedes, blatting it down the straight and almost catching it up.
They have changed it. I was convinced there was a regulation that came in. I can't find it in the 74 pages sitting in front of me. That it may have come through as a technical directive, but clearly didn't make it all the way through. But I was sure they said at one point you would not be allowed to change your tyres any longer in these circumstances. But they have changed tyres.
Yeah, I know for next year that they were talking about that. And, they introduced the standing start after a safety car in the wet.
So apologies for that.
They come up with technical directives here, there and everywhere.
Which sadly we don't get.
Yeah. There's one about the 15th of May being the deadline for nominating who you're supplying engines for next year as well. Apparently that might get completely ignored should McLaren want to...
Oh my God, I think I have a problem with the car.
Oh no.
The car is shaking. Maybe not.
Should McLaren want to change engine supplier themselves? Let us hope for Felipe Massa's sake that he hasn't got a problem with the car.
Safety cars in this lap, so they did. So Perez and Raikkonen do effectively get their lap back. They were talking about Crofty by going out in the normal safety car procedure because they weren't in the fast lane. They've gone out.
Perez is still a lap down, though, as is Raikkonen himself.
Yeah,
but look, Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton getting close to each other again, but not hitting each other this time, I don't think.
So Vettel wants to stay so close to that Mercedes, and Hamilton knows Vettel's under pressure when he gets to the end of the straight. He'd love him to be overtaken.
I'm sure he would. Right, weaving away down the straight, and now they can start going once again. But when will Lewis Hamilton decide it is time to put his foot down? There's the yellow flags, no overtaking just yet. They've not reached the safety car line. Hamilton's still weaving about. Now he stamps on his brakes a little bit as the safety car peels back into the pits, and we can get racing. Hamilton then ahead of Sebastian Vettel, ahead of Felipe Massa and his teammate Lance Stroll. And this time, Lance Stroll now makes a move on Felipe Massa, and Daniel Ricciardo's in that fight, and Nico Hülkenberg as well. And Massa's getting sorted out by the pack, and down the inside goes Daniel Ricciardo. What a move from the Australian. He's picked up a couple of places in one corner. Hamilton from Vettel, from Daniel Ricciardo. Then comes Lance Stroll and Felipe Massa and Nico Hülkenberg. And after Hülkenberg comes Kevin Magnussen and Carlos Sainz and Romain Grosjean completing the top 10. And Hülkenberg fancies a go at Felipe Massa, who may well have problems out there because he's getting caught. And will he get past? No, just blocks off Hülkenberg going into the left-hander.
Hamilton's not exactly steaming away at the front, is he either? But utterly brilliant driving from Ricciardo there. So incisive on the brakes and then made it stick just when he got there.
A+ for Daniel Ricciardo. He is up into the podium places. He has finished third in the last 3 races. He's there again. Let's have a look from on board. Stroll's got past Massa. Hülkenberg's hanging around. Wow, great control.
Right, brilliant, mate. Stay focused. Let's keep it smooth now. Stay ahead.
Told you we fancied a podium for this afternoon. And if he can hang on there, it'll be 4 consecutive races in third place. As I say, equaling that pointless record of the most consecutive finishes in a place other than first in Formula One. It's been done 7 times before. He might be the latest to achieve that, but there's still a long way to go here. There really is. Fernando Alonso is holding on to 8th from Carlos Sainz and Romain Grosjean behind him. Ericsson ahead of Van Dorn in 12th. Ocon 13th and Bottas 14th after both have had their problems on the streets of Baku today. Right, how fast is this Renault engine? Felipe Massa's in trouble here. Here comes Nico Hülkenberg. Massa's been passed again, and he might get caught here by Kevin Magnussen as well. Magnussen fancies going down the inside. Can he do what Ricciardo did? Yes, he can. Oh, squirming away. Nico Hülkenberg nearly loses it coming out of turn 1. And there's the McLaren of Fernando Alonso getting involved there on his former teammate as well. Massa has got problems.
There's something wrong with the front suspension on Massa's car. You can see it down the straight. It looks so rigid almost. And I think that's hurting him. Something's going on there with Massa's car.
Yeah, Alonso's now passed him as well. Oh dear. Was in the podium places just a couple of moments ago. All sorts of bother now for Felipe Massa. Out in front, Hamilton's a second clear, give or take, from Sebastian Vettel. Daniel Ricciardo is pressing on Vettel as well.
Very strange, man. I don't know what's happened. The car's shaking completely, very difficult to drive.
Okay, so it's a broken rear damper. Got a rear damper that's broken.
Oh, and there's a problem there for Nico Hülkenberg. Look at that front right tyre. He's out of this race, and he's made contact with a wall, or he's made contact with another car, but we saw him squirming around when Kevin Magnussen went down the inside, struggling for grip. Hülkenberg's out, both Renaults retiring from this race. Now Carlos Sainz getting involved on the Williams of Felipe Massa.
There's no driving around a broken rear damper. That is why the thing was porpoising, bouncing down the straight. You could see it on the main pit straight, and I can only think they'll have to retire it. It's not an easy fix.
Cars tripping all over themselves, it seems, out there at the moment as the Force India of Ocon and the Mercedes of Bottas get past Van Dorn and Massa as well. Bottas has put himself back into the points as a result, and here comes now Esteban Ocon to try and improve on his situation, and he's back up into the points again. Ocon there ahead of Romain Grosjean, as you can see. He's up into 8th place.
Magnussen hanging on to 5th. Stroll so close behind. We haven't seen it. The Red Bull with DRS. And there is Massa coming into the pit, sadly. But Stroll must be very close to taking that 3rd place back down the pit straight.
Yeah, he was only 3/10 behind Ricciardo when he crossed the line last time around. And the race of his life.
We're going to need to retire the car.
So, disappointment for Felipe Massa, out of this race. His 2nd DNF in a matter of races. This time it's mechanical problems, not the Toro Rosso. And we can see once again what happened here with Kevin Magnussen. What a move again, Martin.
Superb. We've got Raikkonen and Perez under investigation for not working on the cars in the fast lane. Remember, I was telling you they need to be in the fast lane. So they were working on them in the garage,
yeah,
so they're under investigation for that.
Right, this is what's happened to Hülkenberg.
Oh. Oh, dear. Oh, he'll hate it when he watches that one back on the video.
I hit the wall.
What's the damage, Nico? What's the damage?
Front ring.
4 points finishes in the last 5 Grand Prix, not today. Alan Prost. Knows what happened there. That's a shame for him and for Renault. Confirmation then that Kimi Raikkonen and Sergio Perez under investigation for working on the car, not in the fast lane, outside of the fast lane in the pit lane. You saw Lance Stroll very close to Daniel Ricciardo there. And further back, here comes the Force India of Sergio Perez on Romain Grosjean. And Perez puts himself a little further up the road as well.
Still a lap down.
Can I pass Marcus?
If you're quicker, yes, you can pass him, of course.
Is that what it's got to at Sauber these days? Has Wehrlein actually got to ask permission to get past the Swedish driver? Is that what all the fuss has been about this weekend?
Bottas 9th, Ocon 8th there, Sainz 7th. So a haul of points available here this afternoon. I wonder just how far Valtteri Bottas can get. What a shame. for this man. He sat there looking extremely comfortable in third place on the restart.
Broken damper, said Felipe Massa on the team radio. And out of this, the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, is 258th race in Formula One as the cars continue to sneak their way through the Old Town section to rise to the top of this track before plunging back downhill once again. And it's Hamilton out in front by a couple of seconds from Sebastian Vettel. We're watching the battle for 7th place here. Carlos Sainz in the Toro Rosso ahead of Esteban Ocon, ahead of Valtteri Bottas. Bottas tangling with Raikkonen right at the start in turn 2. Ocon at that very same corner tangling with his teammate Sergio Perez. It was a lap down in 15th. But yet Force India might still bring home some decent points here this afternoon.
Yeah, there's only 13 runners ahead of them now.
Yeah.
And we've only just gone through half distance.
Who knows what's going to go on between now and the checkered flag. Hamilton out in front, with the stewards looking at an incident between Sebastian Vettel and himself, and Vettel looked for all the world to turn right in on Hamilton behind the safety car. Kimi Raikkonen trying to unlap himself and getting past Romain Grosjean in the process. They're a long, long way down, both Perez and Raikkonen. Fernando Alonso still in the points, currently running 6th for McLaren.
Bottas is 15 seconds off a podium now.
Key here is Carlos Sainz. How quickly can they get past Sainz and then turn their current laps at about a 1:48 into something nearer a 1:46? And that's what the third place man is doing. Both first and second into 1:45s at the moment, as you can see. There's a bit of a blockage there, especially through this sector.
Yeah, they're lapping 2.5 seconds off the pace of the leaders while they're busy watching each other. That will cost Bottas quite a lot of time in his recovery drive. Stroll still within a second, therefore still within the drag reduction system zone down the pit straight. We haven't seen it. And Stroll on a better middle sector as well, so he'll be even closer when he gets down into turn 1 against the back of the Red Bull, currently running third of Ricciardo.
So on board with race leader Lewis Hamilton, who's just set the new fastest lap of the race. He's 2.6 seconds ahead of Sebastian Vettel. There's a problem with his headrest here, and we've just gone back off boredom again at exactly the wrong moment.
Yes,
is that
there is.
not attached properly? Oh, it's not, Martin.
It's not.
Now that is not going to work itself back down again whilst that car is driving at high speed.
No, when he's got back in the car, that's not located on the back. I tell you what, if that flies out, he'll be obliged to pit. He's not expecting to pit again in this race, but the FIA will not let him carry on without the head protection.
Well, they might not let him carry on, Martin, before it flies out, if that makes any sense as well. Would Charlie Whiting see that at race control and say, look, that might be a bit of a danger, you should come in and change that before something actually happens and it gets serious? Ted, down to you.
It's a safety thing, Crofty.
Yeah.
It's a safety thing. It has to be firmly attached. So I've seen this in the past when there's a loose headrest. People have told... Here we go.
OK, Lewis, looks like headrest is just a little bit loose at the back. Just see if you could pull it into position on the straight.
Oh, that's a tough thing to do. There is a sort of...
Well, he is trying to do it, as you can see.
Go.
The thing is, Martin, at top speed, with all sorts of G-forces going on there, your hand doesn't really want to do what you're asking it to, and all he's doing is just squashing the headrest material rather than forcing it back down.
Yeah, it's lifting up with the air pressure, and I've seen this in the past. They just have to bring him in and get some gaffer tape. I mean, all right, Sebastian Vettel might be under investigation, but it looks like this investigation for the clock, Crofty, for the road rage is going to be after the race. Right. They're going to have to hear from Hamilton on that, aren't they?
Yeah. Oh dear, look.
He'd be better just leaning his head back. His head is all connected, it's all the same piece. If he just leans his head back, but that...
So it still seems to be lifting. You just pull it down, knock it back with your head.
He could do with a safety car.
I don't think it's possible for Lewis to reconnect that.
Sorry, Martin. Ocon has got ahead of Carlos Sainz. Esteban Ocon up into 7th place now in the Force India. Valtteri Bottas, the next one behind Carlos Sainz. And they all get a bit of DRS, except Ocon going through there. They are in Mercedes, they're standing by with the new headrest. Toto Wolff can see his driver out in front, but there might just be a bit of finger trouble there, or a headrest not connecting that could deny Lewis Hamilton victory here. Absolutely, Ted. What a race this is. Incident everywhere you look at the moment.
Vettel under investigation for road rage. Hamilton's got a problem.
Yes, that looks like it can't go anywhere, Lewis. So, yeah, just keep doing what you're doing.
If this thing comes off, what's happening?
We're just having a look at it at the moment.
Yeah, we don't want to be talking about that over the radio. Lewis basically was that response. So Vettel under investigation. Hamilton with a headrest. What will the FIA think about that? It's still in position. Located comfortably beside his hands at the front, as you can see. That's not him anyway, but it's located fine in the front. But somehow the locating pin at the back is not in.
8 different constructors running in the top 8 at the moment. Feel the width, feel the variety here in Baku this evening. 22 and a bit seconds, 22 and a half seconds between Hamilton and Bottas, who's still stuck behind Carlos Sainz. Esteban Ocon is now catching Fernando Alonso in front of him. And here goes Bottas on the charge, trying to get the Toro Rosso down the straight. You can see how Ocon has pulled a bit clear, and Valtteri Bottas, who was plumb last at one stage, is now up into 8th place. The car behind Carlos Sainz, Sergio Perez, he is still a lapped driver, though. Ted, down to you.
I can see the Mercedes guys coming out to the pit lane with a spare headrest. So I think they're going to have to box him. They're going to have to call... Here we go.
Okay, Lewis, you've got to box next lap. You've got to box next lap. We need to fix this headrest.
It's a safety issue, Crofty. Oh, my goodness.
Absolutely. From the race, Lewis Hamilton is going to have to box out. Was it Silverstone 2003? David Coulthard had an issue in his McLaren with a headrest. I think that flew out on that particular occasion. We've seen it happen before, but you can't do that, Martin, down every straight, can you?
Not at 220 miles an hour. That plays into Sebastian Vettel's hands. He's going to come back out in 6th place, just a little bit ahead of his teammate.
And there goes...
Well, it depends how long it takes them to change it.
Well, there goes Toto Wolff's fist on the desk once again, and you can almost feel the vibrations reverberating around the pit lane.
Okay, Lewis, so box, and give us pit confirm. Got to pit this lap.
But have I had a technical flag yet?
So we've been instructed we have to pit this lap.
And Sebastian Vettel has got a 10-second stop-go penalty for dangerous driving. The stewards have decided that Vettel driving into Hamilton is worthy of a 10-second stop-go penalty. So whilst Lewis Hamilton comes in and thinks that all is lost here, maybe for the lead or for a reduction in the championship lead today, it might not be lost just yet.
That's a half a minute that's going to cost Vettel. Stop-go for the full 10 seconds. Ricciardo and Stroll are now fighting for this Grand Prix victory. Oh, what a race.
Well, we sat here in the commentary box, Martin, saying what a straightforward race this is going to be today. How wrong we might have been. Perez unlaps himself. Hamilton comes back onto the track behind Carlos Sainz.
And behind Bottas even.
Bottas yet with this race.
The amount of time it took him to change the headrest.
So he's down in 7th place.
We have a 10-second stop-and-go penalty for dangerous driving. And we need to pay it in 2 laps from now.
When did I do dangerous driving then?
I can't imagine.
Quite sure how Sebastian Vettel could conjure up the nerve to ask that question.
Yeah. So
it was sometime in between when you hit Lewis Hamilton and when something flew off the car.
So Vettel, when he loses a half a minute, will come out in 9th place. And Bottas then is, let's say Ricciardo's about to be leading this. Bottas is 17 seconds off the lead of the Grand Prix now, and ahead of Hamilton.
And time to keep reeling them in. Sebastian Vettel goes past the start-finish line and carries on his way from Daniel Ricciardo and Lance Stroll in the top 3.
Can you give me an explanation when I did dangerous driving?
and we speak after. Now keep your head down and mode box.
Somebody needs to just be strong here and say, yeah, when you hit Lewis Hamilton, that's why they've given you the penalty. Don't fudge the issue, just tell him. Hamilton gets past Carlos Sainz. And I'm not trying to be harsh on Sebastian Vettel here, but it looked to us at the time, Martin, clear as day, that he drove straight into another car. And when you do that, you're going to get punished.
Yeah, they've got to make an example of that. They can't let that be a precedent, I'm afraid. So it's all about the World Championship as well, isn't it, with those two?
Right, this is all about the battle for 5th and 6th at the moment.
Okay, mode box for serving the penalty. He will be in front of Hamilton. Will be tied with Hamilton. We need everything.
Right, Alonso ahead of Esteban Ocon. To me, the reason why you tell Sebastian Vettel now is say, right, this is why, forget about it, get on with the race.
Yeah, I guess you're right. It might clear his head, actually, but he doesn't want an argument over it. So they've been served the penalty. So they're allowed to cross the line 3 times, the finish line 3 times once they're notified of the penalty. That's why you have to get in and get it done.
And whilst we see this battle between Alonso and Ocon, just ahead of them is Kevin Magnussen, running 4th at the moment for Haas. And we saw that great move into turn 1 from Magnussen.
Absolutely amazing job. You are in 4th position.
He is doing a splendid job. At the moment, if he finishes 4th, that'll be the best result Haas have ever come up with. Could he be on for a second career podium? Here comes Vettel, down to 10.
He's right in front of me. Let's see what he does. Is he doing any kind of hand gestures? So I love that you could hear Maurizio Arrivabene in the background of that radio transmission saying, talk about it afterwards. Because, of course, he can remember how Mexico last year, can't he, Crofty? And how irate Vettel got at that moment. And how that almost got him a race ban. It's going to be so tight with Hamilton.
It is. Hamilton coming down the main straight. We can see there Kevin Magnussen. Behind him, Esteban Ocon. There's Fernando Alonso. There's Valtteri Bottas. Here comes Sebastian Vettel. Sergio Perez. He is just ahead of Lewis Hamilton with the lapped Sergio Perez in between them. While that's going on, Kimi Raikkonen's going to be coming into the pit lane again for a drive-through penalty for breaking Article 41.5 of the sporting regulations, where unless you're asked to do so by the FIA, you can't be moving your car out of the fast lane while the race is suspended. Sergio Perez has got that punishment as well.
Yeah, it's just under 20 seconds to drive through the pits without stopping for tyres. So Vettel then is Ricciardo leading by 3 seconds over Stroll. Magnussen and up to 3rd.
10-second penalty is not enough for driver behaviour like that. You know that, Charlie.
And Lewis Hamilton wanting still to give his version of events on it as well. So,
because it's a 10-second stop and go.
Yeah.
Not just 10 seconds added to the time, which is another one of the penalties available to the stewards.
Did Danny Kvyat get both of those in Canada?
Sequentially.
It really was unfortunate for him. Ricciardo from Stroll then. And if you're Williams at the moment, I'm not quite sure what you're saying to Lance Stroll, because you don't want to unnerve him, you don't want to make him, tense up a little bit, but he's running second in what is his only his 8th Grand Prix. We're on board here with Valtteri Bottas, who is behind down the main straight and not behind now Sergio Perez. There's Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton.
Just ignoring all the blue flags.
And Hamilton wants the Force India out of the way. That's an old radio message, I think, that one.
Who's getting blue flags then around?
Well, Perez would have been the one getting the blue flags, but they pitted him, so he's out of the way of it now. Bottas ahead of Alonso.
So this is amazing, isn't it? Bottas, Alonso, Vettel and Hamilton all lined up. Now 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th. Alonso, the cork in the bottle there, I'd imagine, for Vettel and Hamilton.
Do you know what? This is the first time this season Red Bull have led a lap.
Extraordinary.
Which is quite a thing for a team that got rather used to staying out in front.
Yeah, and Ricciardo was 17th on the 6th lap. He was way back down there, wasn't he?
This is absolutely amazing. Ocon behind and Stroll in front. They're doing an excellent job.
Yeah, so Kevin Magnussen up into 3rd. And at the moment, on course for a 2nd career podium. head. Down to you.
Yeah, but Ocon's going to get him. Ocon is very close and lapping faster. The off and on, it's very, very close. But otherwise, I'm just looking down towards a nervous Red Bull pit wall. Are they going to on set to win this race? It's the best chance all year, isn't it, Crofty, to actually win the race? Then we're going to have, never mind one shoey with Sir Patrick Stewart, we're probably going to have shoeys all round for Daniel Ricciardo. Stroll, we'll see how that goes. He's in a good place, considering that Magnussen and Ocon are going to get very close to each other, and it's got a good
but hang on, Ted. Alonso and Vettel into turn one. Alonso defends for all his might. Alonso stays ahead of Sebastian Vettel, and now Lewis Hamilton switches to the inside. Thought about it for a moment. Now Sebastian Vettel goes down the inside, gets past Fernando Alonso. Has Hamilton got some decent acceleration and traction out of turn two to power down that straight and get past Alonso? He has. So Sebastian Vettel still ahead of Hamilton, but for how much longer? Well, they're going to have to survive that order for a few more corners to go, because Hamilton now up into 7th, Vettel up into 6th, and Fernando Alonso down into 8th.
Next man up the road for these two is Valtteri Bottas in the Mercedes. How's that going to play out?
Well, Bottas is on a charge to try and keep up with Esteban Ocon. A couple of tenths faster than the Force India on the last lap. He's more worried about progressing through the field. But whether he's there to play a role for his teammate, I'm not quite so sure here, Martin. He at this stage of the race, he's just got to go all out for attack, isn't he?
The first match. Well, they're catching him at the moment. Will they continue to catch him? He's getting very close to Ocon anyway, as you pointed out. So, but these two are lapping at mighty fast pace in the low 1 minute 45s, even amongst the traffic.
Yeah, I don't know, the brakes are gone, I think.
Oh.
Okay, yeah.
Well, they've had issues all weekend long. Good to Steiner, the team principal, saying to Martin and I this morning, you put one set on and it's okay, and the next set, you change it around, it's not. The Brembo material just not working on that Haas car at the moment. This is not the car, because some things are actually working. There is Kevin Magnussen, there is Esteban Ocon, there is Valtteri Bottas. That is 3rd, 4th and 5th in this race. This is from the rear wing of Sebastian Vettel, the scrap for 6th place. And there is absolutely no love lost on this afternoon between Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton. They say they're enjoying the scrap, the championship scrap. They're both feeling energised by the battle between them. But after Vettel picked up a penalty for driving into Hamilton, after Hamilton had to give up the lead because his headrest was coming loose, just what are the emotions going on in the cockpit of those particular cars?
Bizarre, they ended up on the same piece of track again, though, isn't it? After completely different issues. How far can they get? They were with traffic on that time. They lost out quite a lot to Bottas, so they're 3.5 seconds behind Bottas, who himself is in traffic. Tell you who's got a nice cushion is Lance Stroll in 2nd place. Yeah. He's got a 13.5 second cushion. Back to Magnussen.
I've just had a text message, and I'm sure she won't mind me saying this, from Claire Williams, when I said, how are you feeling at Williams at the moment?
What a shame. We could won this race.
Yeah, that doesn't mean he's retiring. That means had he got a little bit more horsepower, he could have been right up there. And the difference in qualifying, 18 miles an hour at the start-finish line between the straight line speed of Daniel Ricciardo and Fernando Alonso yesterday. So I asked at Williams, how would they be feeling at this moment in time? Lance Stroll up in 2nd place, and Claire physically sick. Absolutely sick at the moment with nerves. I'll tell you what, better to be sick with nerves when your driver's in 2nd place. And if he's down in 15th, and there goes Esteban Ocon on Kevin Magnussen. Here comes Valtteri Bottas on Kevin Magnussen, and you're sick for a different reason. Down at Haas at the moment, because you've gone from 3rd down to 5th. Esteban Ocon up into the podium places. He's never stood on the podium in Formula 1 before, but will he get there, or can Valtteri Bottas catch him?
And can Vettel and Hamilton catch Bottas?
It is all up for grabs here. And that cushion that Lance Stroll is building himself between him and Esteban Ocon, and that might be the most comfortable cushion in these parts. Meanwhile, down at Sauber, Ericsson on the right-hand side, Wehrlein on the left-hand side, getting way too close and colliding with each other. And I hope that is not going to cost them, because at the moment, Marcus Ericsson is into the points, hasn't scored points since Monza in 2015, and he's currently running 10th, just ahead, or side by side, of his teammate.
Alonso in the points position as well, yet again for McLaren. Van Dorn in P12, he's not out of the question either for a point in the other McLaren. But the laps are getting down there now, Crofty. 13 to go. 14 with this one. And what can happen here then?
The championship points as they stand at the moment, Sebastian Vettel would increase it by 2. Valtteri Bottas would be then further 30 points behind. Daniel Ricciardo will be making some major gains if he can hang on to this first place. And at the moment, he's 5.3 seconds ahead of Lance Stroll. We've got a yellow flag being waved in the first sector.
I wonder if that's debris
from the two Salvers.
Yeah, when they touched.
Right, here we go. Sebastian Vettel on Kevin Magnussen. Vettel makes that move look very easy indeed. Puts himself up into 5th place. Hamilton now, well, looking a little bit easier as well. I hope Magnussen hasn't got a problem there. But Hamilton sweeping past him. He didn't really put up a fight there, Kevin Magnussen. I hope he hasn't got brake issues in the way that his teammate Romain Grosjean has. Grosjean down in 13th place, still running in this race. And behind him, Perez and Raikkonen a lap down. Whatever speed you're going, Marta, at this rate, if you can keep running, you still actually might score a point. Just if you can get home.
Look at that, Vettel then really closing in on Bottas, dragging Hamilton with him. The Ferrari's got the better pace at the moment of the two Mercedes, over the two Mercedes. Stroll, a comfortable 2nd place.
Well, it must be the best place for him at the moment. The fact that, you know, the leader is quite a bit ahead and there's nothing coming up behind him. You know, you can manage that as a team in the conversations you'll be having with him.
He's been comfortable, hasn't he, on this track?
And all since that private test that he had in Austin after Canada as well. There's his father, Lawrence Stroll. Was having a chat with him this morning. And he was saying, you know, as a racing dad, you know, you're not in control. The nerves get you all the time.
Steady lap from Ricciardo up front. And why might that be? He's not in traffic. There's Ricciardo. One glimmer of a problem with that Red Bull.
Right, here's Ocon and Bottas. Ocon was in the podium places. Not anymore. Valtteri Bottas, who tangled with Kimi Raikkonen on the 2nd corner, is now back up into the podium places.
This is going to start putting pressure on the two out front now. The kind of pace that Bottas and Vettel and Hamilton have in the 1:44s will mean they've got to engage back up the front again. It's going to be so close at the end of the race.
11 laps to go. Bottas was about 2 seconds quicker over the last 4 laps than Lance Stroll. And on board with Esteban Ocon now. Could have easily been in the podium places had he not have tangled with his teammate Sergio Perez, had that debris not come off that incident and, you know, prompted the red flag as well.
Yeah, 3/4 of the drivers tonight are going to be, this is an if-only day, isn't it?
Yeah. We have lost from this race Jolyon Palmer, Danny Kvyat, Max Verstappen, Nico Hülkenberg and Felipe Massa. Raikkonen and Perez are both a lap down. Bottas is up in the 3rd after running last when they had to change his front wing after he crashed with Kimi Raikkonen on the 2nd corner. Lewis Hamilton was leading this race right up until the moment his headrest started coming loose and he had to pit, and he's now down in 6th. Sebastian Vettel was leading this race, but he had to come in for a 10-second stop-go penalty after driving into Hamilton and driving dangerously in the opinion of the stewards and getting a 10-second stop-go penalty that for the life of him he couldn't work out how he managed to get. He's in 5th, Hamilton is 6th, Bottas is charging after Lance Stroll, who only got his first points finish in Formula 1 last time out and might yet be on the podium, and Daniel Ricciardo from 10th on the grid could win this race and be the lowest winning grid position since Alonso won the 2012 European Grand Prix in Valencia, which I think was 5 years ago this weekend.
It's really broken. We would want to retire the car.
Yeah, it's quite broken. I am moving around.
Okay, Checo, then we're not happy. With it, so cool the brakes and box.
Means they can fit a new gearbox for the next Grand Prix.
Perez then out of this race, and that is officially then his 37th race classified finishing streak coming to an end, and Nick Heidfeld does continue with that record with 41.
Tell you what, Vettel hasn't cruised past Ocon, has he? In quite the same way that Bottas did. They'll have to wait till they get to the end of the pit straight. Hamilton's right on the back there as well.
Yeah, he's had a half a second. He's gained on Vettel on this lap, Martin.
They've got the message out front. Personal best coming in the sectors. Personal best at the end of the laps as well for Ricciardo and Stroll.
Bottas, the fastest man on the track at the moment, though. He's got 12 seconds to make up on Lance Stroll. Ted, down to you.
I'm looking across the pit lane to Paddy Lowe and Rob Smedley on the Williams pit wall, and they're just nervously looking at the lap times. Stroll is responding to Bottas's fastest laps, but it's not enough. It's not enough to keep P2 at the moment by the end of the race. It looks like Bottas is going to be right with him in about 8 or 9 laps' time.
If he can keep it to a second a lap difference, he's all right. But
there goes Sebastian Vettel on Esteban Ocon. Sorry, Martin, into turn 1. He's picked off another place, has Sebastian Vettel. Now, last time we saw this, when Vettel got past Kevin Magnussen, Hamilton was able to keep pace with Vettel and get past Magnussen quite quickly. But I get the feeling, Martin, this is going to be a much tougher ask, because that Force India has exactly the same engine in the back of it, and he's not making life easy by any stretch for Lewis Hamilton there.
Ocon's keeping good enough pace, though, to keep Hamilton in touch with Vettel, and Hamilton will have to wait, I think, till the end of the pit straight down in the braking zone of turn 1. He'll have a good chance then to boost his way past and use the DRS. So how far behind Bottas is Vettel? A good couple of seconds by the looks of it. 3 and a bit, actually.
Yeah. 11 seconds, the gap between Lance Stroll and Valtteri Bottas, as we see Sergio Perez walking out of the garage and back towards the hospitality unit, which means Kimi Raikkonen is now the last man in this race. We've only got 14 running. We've only got 13 running on the lead lap.
Van Dorn's catching the 2 Saubers as well for a squabble over the final point.
Yep. The 2 Saubers losing a little bit of pace. Still Ericsson ahead of Wehrlein. That is for the last points place. And McLaren, see at the moment McLaren scoring points in 8th place would take them level with Sauber. If Ericsson could then get that 10th, keeps them 1 point ahead of McLaren in the Constructors' Championship, I think they would be ahead, Sauber, because they've had more 11th or 12th or 13th place finishes. But if they want to stay 1 point ahead, Ericsson's got to stay where he is. Now, the fastest lap of the race from Valtteri Bottas as we're on board with Lewis Hamilton, and that's Esteban Ocon ahead of him, and Hamilton's going to go and try around the outside into turn 1 of Esteban Ocon. He's putting faith and trust in the French driver there that he doesn't get squeezed into the wall, and it wasn't by much that he managed to navigate it. Hamilton is up into 5th place.
Risky, brave, but it worked. Bottas, though, yes, new fastest lap of the race, still only 1 second faster than Stroll. And he's now 10.4 behind with 9 laps to go, including this one.
And out in front, avoiding all the nerves and the tension from people pressing down on him, is Daniel Ricciardo. Through the castle section we go. The man who hasn't won since Malaysia last year, for a team that hasn't led a single lap in 2017. Is he on course for his 5th win in Formula One? And a win that, let's face it, after he crashed in qualifying yesterday, Martin, would have possibly been the last thing on his mind.
Yeah. And to remind you, P17 at the end of lap 6 was Daniel Ricciardo. Bottas half-second up in the first sector over Stroll. Stroll's had a so-so middle sector. Another half-second then in the middle sector. Bottas over Stroll.
Is Sebastian Vettel still gaining a bit on Valtteri Bottas? No. Nerves there for Christian Horner. Foot tapping away. There is the championship leader. Red 5. Sebastian Vettel for Ferrari in 4th place, where he started, and so much has happened in between.
Okay, mate. It's brilliant stuff. Very good job.
It's been a super drive, it really has. The move into turn 1 after the restart, Martin, was just sublime.
Gave him the right track position at This young man has done a fine job today as well, hasn't he? In his 8th Grand Prix.
To me, he's done a very calm, measured job all weekend long. Yeah, we saw him ahead of his teammate in practice. We saw him out qualifying Massa for the first time and just kept his nose clean.
It's a tough race for everybody to keep their heads because red flags, safety cars, incidents.
Okay, Lance, so we need green sectors every lap now.
Yeah, it's just so he doesn't get too comfortable. The gap under 10 seconds now.
Yeah, 9.2. Vettel's really only just edging up to the back of Bottas now. So they might all arrive in the mirrors of the Williams right at the end. That's going to be very touch and go.
And you would hope then that Pirelli's projected life, 30 laps on the super soft, it's going to be round about 7, going to be about 34 laps. He's done on those super soft tyres. You hope that there's enough grip left in them. And that's the gap between first and second. Haven't had a Canadian on the podium since Jacques Villeneuve, the German Grand Prix in 2001. Valtteri Bottas in third at the moment, seems to have the pace to keep Sebastian Vettel at bay. Vettel's just gone faster, but only by 1/10 of a second on the last lap. Hamilton has gone significantly quicker, actually that's 2/10, not 7, than Sebastian Vettel. He's a 1.5 seconds behind, needs a bit of DRS assistance.
The trouble is they don't want to put Lance under too much pressure. A third would do just fine, I reckon.
Points on offer if you can get both Saubers.
And Van Dorn still catching the 2 Saubers. And he's got about 2 seconds, about 4 seconds to make up in these last few laps. Ricciardo, Stroll, Bottas, Vettel and Hamilton then the top 5. I think for Force India there was a potential 1-2 in this race for them today had they not come together. Only Hamilton and Vettel were ahead when they had that collision.
Yeah, that's cost them very dearly, hasn't it, at Force India? And I don't really think that was about letting drivers race or not. It was just restart, 2 into 1, didn't go. Ocon a bit punchy against his teammate.
It was unfortunate. The stewards decided Bottas didn't do anything wrong on Ricciardo. And it looked like Ocon had clipped the same bit of curb and got thrown sideways as Perez had. And the stewards haven't taken any action, that's for sure. Something of an improvement from the initial races for Stroll.
No. If there are any tyre problems, we have space behind for a pit stop.
I have no battery, no power, so yeah, you have to risk a lot in the corners.
Okay, understood. We know that. It's P9, first points for the team. Let's bring it home. You've done a good job.
Yeah, Carlos Sainz has got past Alonso, and there's about 37, 38 seconds back to the 2 Saubers. Well, they got 5 laps of that engine to hold together and score their first points of the season as well. All the focus has been on Fernando Alonso. A lot of focus on Fernando Alonso this week. Is he going to stay? Is he going to go? If he's going to go, where can he go?
Bottas wants second. He's got to go faster.
He's got the gap down now to about 6.5 seconds. How tense are they down at Williams? Haven't been on the podium since Canada a year and 13 days ago. And Valtteri Bottas, the man chasing Lance Stroll down, stood on the podium that day. Even if Bottas catches Lance Stroll, I still think that he should make it onto the podium, but second place today, what a reward that would be for the team.
Second, third, fourth and fifth are all going to be within sight of each other down the long pit straight on this lap.
Yeah, but it is a very, very long pit straight. There we go, first and second and third. That's how long this straight is.
Guys, if Valtteri's not fighting anyone ahead, you need to have him slow down just enough that he gives bad wake.
That's not going to work, Lewis. I see your thought process, but try and back Vettel into me, is what he's saying, but there's a P2 up for grabs.
Ted, down to you.
Just a quick one on Sauber for the last points-paying position. If this stays the way it is and Wehrlein can't get past Alonso, then they're going to switch it back because Ericsson let Wehrlein through. They'll switch it back and Ericsson will get his first points of the year.
Excellent. Thank you, Ted, for clearing that one up.
So he lost 1.4 last time.
Yeah, copy, Lewis. Valtteri's trying to catch Stroll. We don't want to give Vettel the DRS.
Good thinking.
I'm rather looking forward to hearing from the drivers at the end of this race as well.
They're going to be getting angry going, what happened? What went on in that race? Because it's actually quite hard when you've got all the stops and starts and the goings-on to follow everything. Especially with the weird extra pit stop that both Hamilton and Vettel had to make. Vettel's only got himself to blame on that one.
So what do you think it's going to be in terms of the top 5 after this race? Smiling a lot, possibly a competition between the top 2 as to who smiles the most. Smiling, because he's managed to recover a podium. Bewilderment and fury.
Yeah, I don't think Ocon will be a bit sheepish as well when he gets back in from P6. Magnussen will be ecstatic. Sainz has had a solid afternoon, considering he was pointing in the wrong direction on the exit of turn 1. 4 to go, 4 laps to go.
And the battle for third place between Sebastian Vettel and Valtteri Bottas, 2.5 seconds, because Vettel just set a new fastest lap.
Oh, he went wide there. The back end stepped out on him, did Sebastian Vettel. Really carrying a lot of speed.
And that's going to give Hamilton a little bit of hope. Drivers' Championship points, 14 it'll be, the lead.
Okay, let's stay focused now, let's stay focused. 4 laps to go, this is good. Nice and relaxed.
Stroll lost 2.8 seconds in the last 2 laps.
But he's got that cushion, hasn't he, of 4 and a bit seconds to Valtteri Bottas, but is it enough of a cushion?
It's not enough now after the last couple of laps, unfortunately. It's put him in range. But as long as they doesn't lose too much time, he should still be ahead of Vettel and Hamilton.
And I think Kimi Räikkönen's about to retire from this race. He's just come into the pits. The man who was running last is out.
And then there were 13 runners.
Unlucky for some, but not for Daniel Ricciardo. Continues to lead here as we tick past 7 o'clock in Baku this evening. And this was down at turn 1 a few moments ago.
That was the bit I was talking about. Massive oversteer in the middle of the corner. He didn't lose as much time as it looked like he might, actually, in that slow-mo replay.
Car number 8, Romain Grosjean, looks as the leader passes him, Daniel Ricciardo, and laps him with 3 laps to go. The gap between Ricciardo and Stroll, 6.1 seconds, but it's the gap behind that we're worried about, or Williams will be worried about. 3.2 seconds. Hamilton has gained a couple of tenths on Sebastian Vettel, or in that last lap, actually a bit more than a couple of tenths. Carry that on, he might just get a bit of DRS assistance.
Stroll's now got those 3 in his mirrors for the teenager to think about. He'd be better just looking out the front, I reckon.
Yeah. You don't want to see what's coming up behind you. You just want to know that you've got, 12, maybe 15, 16 kilometres to go. Doesn't sound like much, does it? It's a good stroll, 16 kilometres.
Bottas half second up in the first sector. And dragging this pair with him. Interesting, isn't it, that the Ferrari, once they've straightened them all up and stopped them running into each other and doing silly things, the Ferraris had the pace in this second part of the race, if you like, to catch one Mercedes and comfortably stay ahead of the other.
That gap we saw in qualifying, you're absolutely right, Martin, isn't there necessarily in the race. Lots of accusations that Ferrari with a second oil tank have had their wings clipped a little bit by the FIA for something that they may or may not have been infringing in the regulations. I say accusations, nothing founded. But in the race itself, the pace has been there.
So it's going to be the last lap when Bottas catches Stroll. If he doesn't pass him going into the last lap. Where is he going to pass him?
It's a long drag down to the line, isn't it?
You know, it's the Mercedes engine in the back of the Williams. It won't be that easy to pass coming off a corner.
2.2 seconds with 2 laps remaining and a second faster, Valtteri Bottas, on that previous lap.
So it will be the last lap then. He catches him. What can he do about it?
What he needs, Valtteri Bottas, is to get within a second by the time he gets to the next DRS detection point. Talking about within a second, Hamilton's got DRS on Sebastian Vettel. He's actually got that gap under a second now.
10 seconds covers the top 5, 10.8 at the moment.
Race of the season, this one.
Ricciardo's steady out front. He's not under any pressure, and that
is Grosjean trying to keep out of the way. Now he's now really in the way at a really bad time. Well, do you know what? Fair play to Romain Grosjean, because if he'd have stayed ahead a little bit more, there's no chance of keeping out of the way here. That's how the blue flags can absolutely ruin someone's race. On this occasion, you know, Grosjean did well to keep out of the way. He wasn't fighting or scrapping with anybody. Has it slowed Vettel down? Has it slowed Hamilton down? A tenth of a second difference.
Interesting. Bottas only matches Stroll in the middle sector. Not a particularly good lap for Bottas. He's 4/10 up in the first sector, but made a little error somewhere in there because he's been catching faster than that. And that might just give Stroll the breathing space he needs on the last lap.
Yeah, and it's good. The message has got through down at Williams as well. Final lap. Daniel Ricciardo starts it as the race leader. Lance Stroll on for his first ever podium. Valtteri Bottas 1.3 seconds behind. Hamilton has made up an awful lot on Sebastian Vettel down that straight, and will have DRS going into the second activation zone right here. He still continues to press Sebastian Vettel. As it stands at the moment, Vettel will extend his championship lead by a couple of points. Behind Hamilton, Esteban Ocon in 6th place, which would be a career equaling best finish. Kevin Magnussen in the points for Haas was in the podium places around about 15 laps ago. Carlos Sainz ahead of Fernando Alonso, and Pascal Wehrlein still ahead of Marcus Ericsson. But the trouble they've got with switching him around at Sauber is that Stoffel Van Dorn is only half a second behind Marcus Ericsson now in 12th place.
Huge pressure for the teenager in the Williams, but he looks rock solid. And I don't know whether there's a space until they get past the checkered flag that he'll be able to overtake him. Bottas will be able to get through.
If you're close enough, you can get a slipstream and a tow. You might be able to outdrag the car in front, but is Valtteri Bottas close enough? What this has been in Baku for Daniel Ricciardo. Baku will see top 10 of podium. A crazy, chaotic, amazing race. Full incident for Daniel Ricciardo. The checker flag is there. He wins the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Behind him, Lance Stroll. Has he been overtaken by Valtteri Bottas? Just on the line, Bottas gets second. A podium for Lance Stroll, but Bottas, who was a lap down and plumb last after the opening exchanges, has come back to take second place. Williams get their first podium since Bottas stood on the podium for them in Canada last year. Sebastian Vettel just holds off Lewis Hamilton by 0.2 of a second. And I tell you what, second or third, they might not care down at Williams. The fact is, Lance Stroll gets his first podium in Formula One. Ocon for 6th, Magnussen, Sainz, Alonso and Wehrlein should complete the top 10 finishes. What an afternoon here on the shores of the Caspian Sea, and the team that hasn't led a lap all season are the team that comes home first. And for Williams, it's time to break open the bubbly. They got a podium to celebrate, but how close was he to second place?
That was cruel. Bottas somehow got himself into the slipstream, and look at the speed differential here. Everything wound up.
Oh man, he got me. Unlucky. P3, mega drive.
What do you do?
Where did he get that speed from? He came from so far back.
Just got
He found a second in the last sector, did Bottas, with the slipstream.
I'd like to go back to turn 16 and see what the exit was like there.
Yeah.
And that's where if you do get it slightly wrong or the grip just isn't there, you can be sitting up down the straight.
Impressed that Stroll is disappointed with that. And understandably, to hold second for so long. That's still a brilliant performance by the young Canadian. And he was 1.9 ahead of Vettel, who ended up 0.2 ahead of Hamilton. Didn't even see that, did we? Yeah. Behind how close that was with the championship leaders.
He got a good drag as well. The youngest rookie to sit on the podium, the second youngest driver of all time. Felipe Massa, not quite a rookie these days, taking Lawrence Stroll to the podium, and the phone calls coming in already to the Canadian.
Nice job, mate. Absolutely brilliant. Nice job.
Oh, holy
yeah, good job, mate.
Cheers, guys.
I think that is pretty much the best reaction to this race, where you just have to laugh and say, let's go back and watch this again. Yeah. What happened?
Well, I'm trying to remember. We know he had debris in his brake duct, didn't we? So he had to make an early pit stop after a bit of a scruffy start. And
helped by the safety cars, helped by the red flag. But, you know, Red Bull have come here, Martin, and it was Verstappen who was the quickest on the Friday, but they've looked a force all weekend long.
They weren't, he didn't have to, but they weren't showing the pace of Mercedes and Ferrari in the race, but they got track position. And he's got a habit of that, hasn't he, Daniel? When there's a chance of nicking a race, of just stealing something that maybe wasn't coming his way.
Well, mate, that was a absolutely stunning drive. That absolutely went past your age, 18 years old, on the podium. That was absolutely brilliant. Well done, kid. Thank you.
Rob Smedley with a congratulations for Lance Stroll. Went into the race, the boy came out of man.
Yeah, so somehow Bottas found 1.4 seconds on him in the last lap. Nearly 1.5.
I mean, here's the man in Canada, Martin, who's only ever led 3 laps there. They were the last 3 laps of his first ever win, but this is his 5th.
He won it down into turn 1, didn't he, on the restart with that brilliant move.
Where might Max Verstappen have been in the mix had he not been let down by mechanical problems again?
Bottas, he had three wheels on his wagon for most of the lap, didn't he, and was over a lap behind and got the lap back behind the safety car.
And amidst all the celebrations here, rightly so for Ricciardo, and for Bottas and for Stroll, I haven't seen Lewis Hamilton or Sebastian Vettel yet, because there's a story there that will emerge as to...
Well, Vettel gains in the championship, doesn't he, extraordinarily.
And there's Hamilton there to say congratulations to the man he gave a thumbs up to in Canada. Fernando Alonso says well done as well. The rookie getting all the plaudits, and rightly so, this afternoon. But Hamilton's headrest came undone. That's what cost him the lead of this race. Sebastian Vettel took over, but had that 10-second stop-go penalty. And there will be much talk of that, I'm sure, after this race. Slowly. It's very difficult to get a young 18-year-old to calm down when he's just got his first podium. What about the 27-year-old Daniel Ricciardo?
Oh, shit.
Apologies for the language.
We'll be talking about this race for a while and into the future, Crofty.
Sebastian Vettel stays in the lead of the Drivers' Championship. Hot-headed day, last race in his 20s.
Well, that was fun. That was very fun. Thanks.
What a race. Crazy, huh? Yeah. You came from, I had a puncture in first lap and still managed to do second. Crazy. And you got hit on the finish line? Yeah. Good. That was a close one, buddy. That was good. Thank you. Thank you, man. Well done. job, buddy. Good job. Thank you. You too. Crazy, huh? It was a good one. You went for it in T1. It was good on the restart. It was like 3 wide or something. It was good. Oh. Wow. Crazy. That was a fun race. Good time. Hopefully everyone enjoyed that. I think so. That's what we expected last year, huh? Yeah. All these things. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. You did too. Wow. It's crazy. Yeah, I was 1 lap behind. Yeah, I saw you overtook the safety car, right, to get back. Yeah. But then something happened with Lewis and Seth. Safety car. Lewis's headrest or something. And the last lap, I'd like overtake everything. But come on. Should we?
Rob van Loben had enough.
Lewis Hamilton was saying that as he approaches the line, he sometimes ducks his head down in qualifying, trying to break the timing beam a little bit sooner. That's about the only thing Lance Stroll didn't do as he raced to the line. And the margin between Bottas and Stroll, 1/10 of a second as they cross the line. But I actually think second or third, it really doesn't matter to the Williams team or to the Stroll family themselves. It's just the fact he's on the podium, Martin.
Very proud dad and a happy Dr. Helmut Marko there, almost certainly, I think, talking to Dietrich Mateschitz of Red Bull.
Well, you know what it's like as a racing father to watch your son on the podium.
I do indeed, from just last weekend.
Ladies and gentlemen, in position 3, his first career podium, and driver of the day, Lance Stroll.
Driver of the day, Lance Stroll.
He made less mistakes this weekend than any other driver out there. Very, very good.
Second youngest podium finisher of all time at 18 years and 239 days. He takes his place in third. The man who used to be in the seat he occupies now, Valtteri Bottas, comes onto the podium for his 14th podium in Formula One. And for a 5th win, walking tall, Daniel Ricciardo, the winner of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix.
And joining the ceremony will also be Pierre Vache, the Chief Technical Engineer of Performance at Red Bull Racing.
the Austrian national anthem for the winning constructor Red Bull. It's to Austria we go next, but the President of the Republic of Azerbaijan to present the winner's trophy to Daniel Ricciardo.
Presenting the winning constructor trophy, Merivan Aliyeva, the Vice President and First Lady
that,
of
as we mentioned, hadn't led a lap in 2017 before today's chaotic race. The Vice President and the First Lady presents the winning constructors trophy.
In second place, the second place trophy presented by Azad Raminov.
He was a lap down on lap 12 of this race, was Valtteri Bottas, and he was last. He comes home to finish second in the constructors title. Mercedes now with a 24-point lead over Ferrari. And the moment Lance Stroll will never, ever forget. He might have got pipped on the line by Bottas, but he still was there. Third place in his first podium in Formula One. Sebastian Vettel will extend his championship lead to 14 points. But it wasn't the championship contenders who finished on the podium. But it's a podium full of smiles and passion after a great race here in Baku. And for Daniel Ricciardo, the season has come alive here this evening.
Three super happy drivers on the podium. It's not always you see that, is it? Good race.
Great to hear them talking about the racing as well. And
just... The lap charts will look pretty crazy, weren't they? Like one of those spirograph things.
Well, we had just a little bit of everything through the race today. As you said, Martin, about 10 laps to go, there'll be so many either hard luck stories or coulda, woulda, shoulda stories at the end of this.
Ricciardo passing the Williams in turn one was a key, because I don't think he'd necessarily got the pace to catch him past him in a general battle, general lapping.
He showed, didn't he, that he's still a man that when the chance comes, he can take it.
Legend, David Coulthard.
So DC with the podium interviews. Let's hear from the drivers.
Good evening, Azerbaijan. Did anyone predict this podium? I don't think so. Gentlemen, once you've received your hats and your microphones, if you can join me down at the front, please. Daniel?
I got Max's hat.
Do you care right now?
Not really.
Put on the hat, son. Congratulations. Gentlemen, please come down to the front. Can you believe it?
What was that, sorry?
Can you believe you won the Grand Prix from 10th place?
Not really. And, yeah, it was a crazy race. We knew the podium was a chance after the restart. But then, yeah, we heard, obviously, the problems with Lewis and Seb. And it was just a crazy race. I made an unplanned pit stop at the beginning. After a few laps, we had some debris, I think, in the brakes. So we had to stop and clean it. And we dropped back to, I think, 17th place. So did I think then I would win today? Absolutely not. I would have put all my money on it that this was very unlikely. But, yeah, crazy race. This is the race we expected last year. With all the safety cars and all the chaos, and we got it this year.
Well, it was a fantastic comeback from a difficult quality. You kept your chin up when we spoke to you after putting it in the wall there, so it goes to show you never give up.
Yeah, it was obviously yesterday I was, disappointed with the mistake, but hey, that's, I guess you got to make these to try and fight for that last little bit, and I knew today would be a different outcome, and yeah, I said it yesterday, we had to stay out of trouble, and it certainly paid off today. So big thanks to the team, Red Bull Racing. It was nice to get one car home and on the top step. So thanks, guys. Thanks, everyone that came out.
Well, Daniel, great stuff. We're going to come back to Lance in a moment. I suspect this man feels like he won this Grand Prix. But coming to Valtteri, right on the line. Now, you were a lap down in last place, and you come through and deliver a result for the team. So you must be mighty relieved.
Yeah, what Daniel also said, it's just a crazy race, so much happening. And yeah, I was one lap down in the beginning. During the safety car, had to overtake everyone, catch them again. But I think this just shows that never give up. You never know what's going to happen in the race. So just kept the head down, kept pushing, and team also managed to during the red flag, fixed the car a little bit, so they did a really good job on that during that, and really enjoyed it, and just had fun. But shame Daniel in the end wasn't too far away anymore, but you know, taking the circumstances, what happened in the beginning, it's a good result for us.
Well, just tell us about that. You seem to be magnetically drawn towards your countrymen. You and Kimi came together. What's your view from the cockpit?
Yeah, you know, going into turn 2, I was on the inside, he was on the outside, and yeah, there was no space for me to go apart from over the curb. And when you go over the curb, the car obviously jumps, and just couldn't keep the line. So I think another racing incident, to be honest, but it's just unlucky that it's me and Kimi again.
Sure. No, Kimi took full responsibility. Okay. No, he didn't. But great to see you believe that for a moment. Right, ladies and gentlemen, the man that's going to feel that he's won this Grand Prix, the youngest ever podium finisher, Lance Stroll. Fantastic. Put it there, buddy. Excellent. Now, thank you. Feel free to show all the emotions. You can see your father down there, a man that supported you at nearly every race. In fact, every race he's been with you. So it's all come good in the last 2 races.
Yeah, I'm just lost for words right now. I don't even know what to say. I can't quite realize what just happened. It was a hectic race. People, you know, crashing, and we just stayed out of trouble. You know, I just kept my head cool and took it to the end, and our pace was good. Just lost out to Valtteri there in the end. I think that was probably one of the closest finishes of all time. So yeah, we were side by side crossing the finish line, but what a race. I mean, I couldn't believe coming into the weekend that I'd be standing here on the podium. It's so amazing.
Well, I know your father's got broad shoulders, but I can see a tear in his eye from up here. Yeah. So I think you're going to get a monster bear hug when you come down from there. Also,
just the whole team. I mean, yeah. It's amazing.
You were voted by the fans of Formula One as the driver of the day as well. So you've really punched through now and connected with the public.
Yeah, I mean, I was telling to Daniel, you know, motorsport's a love-hate relationship, and we had a couple hard races, but the last 2 races have been amazing, and yeah, I'm just over the moon right now.
Well, fantastic, very well deserved. Gentlemen, if I can bring you back in, Daniel, another line from you. You'll take the wins when they come. You seem a little bit more, you know, you can see the smile almost through your helmet when you were in the cockpit, but now you seem a bit calmer than I was really expecting. You've just won your 5th Grand Prix.
Yeah, I honestly, I'm speechless. After the race, on the cool-down lap, I was kind of just giggling like a little schoolboy, so... You want some?
No, keep talking, keep talking.
So,
I think your podium colleagues need a little celebration.
Stroll's first podium,
think about it.
So he certainly deserves one. Is he old enough to drink?
He's old enough to drink. I'll let you prepare the drinks. Well, come on, gentlemen. You know, you're on the podium here in Azerbaijan. You can't refuse a drink from the winner, or can you?
You realize this is going to scar me for life. That's it. Oh my God, I'm too young for this.
Well done. Great sport. Valtteri, are you partaking?
Oh, there's like some dirt in there as well. There's some dirt.
Okay, Valtteri, before you run away, you want to jump back up here and give these boys a man hug on the podium. But ladies and gentlemen, your podium finishers here in Azerbaijan. Thank you, Azerbaijan. Thank you, Baku. We'll see you again in 2 weeks in Austria.